Chapter 1957. Yi Tianyun was dumbfounded. He did not expect to be saved by a little girl, and not from the same race at that. According to the green demon race outside, she seemed to be from another race in the same area, and she seemed to be very xenophobic and unfriendly. But if she was really unfriendly, why would she save him? Yi Tianyun looked the little girl up and down. Apart from her hair color, her eyes seemed to emit a faint light, and she looked at him curiously. Yi Tianyun was very curious about her, and she was also very curious about Yi Tianyun. Overall, her cultivation was not high, only at the level of a star master. Even so, she was not very old. Staying in the area of the five-colored divine stone, no matter how bad her talent was, with such a dense energy, it would not be bad. Why did you save me? Yi Tianyun thought for a while, and finally decided to ask about the situation. You are not a bad person. The little girl tilted her head and thought for a while, then said, I am not a bad person. Yi Tianyun immediately smiled, looked at her, and said, How do you know I am not a bad person? You killed the people of the green demon race, so you are not a bad person. Although the little girl said this, there was still some timidity in her eyes, and she did not dare to get too close. Facing such a strange existence, she still had to be vigilant. I killed the people of the green demon race, so I am not a bad person? Yi Tianyun was startled. He did not expect such a thing. In that case, those who helped you kill the green demon race are not bad people. The little girl tilted her head, then shook it and said, It is not like that. I felt a very familiar aura from you, as if you are similar to us, so I saved you. Also, you killed the people of the green demon race, so you are definitely not a bad person. Familiar aura. Yi Tianyun thought for a while and immediately knew what was going on. The familiar feeling she was talking about was actually the aura of the five-colored emperor dragon, which was similar to the power of the five elements. The little girl in front of him clearly did not have the slightest bit of dragon bloodline. With a sweep of the appraisal eyes, detailed information immediately appeared. The five-colored divine race, a race that relies on the five-colored divine stone to survive. They possess great power and control the power of the five elements. Five-colored god race. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed. He finally understood why he was so hostile towards the green demon race. Not to mention the green demon race, even the other races wanted to capture the five-colored god race when they saw them. His entire body was a treasure, there was no way they would let him go. Their bloodlines contained dense five-colored energy, which would be extremely beneficial to one's cultivation if one were to absorb it. As for the green demon race, they wanted to suck it dry. It was equivalent to an extremely concentrated five-colored godstone, so how could they not want to absorb it? Yes, you have an aura that is familiar to us, but you are not one of us. You are a human. The little girl tilted her head, thinking about something. Of course I'm not one of your clansmen. Anyway, do you know how to get out of here? Yi Tianyun felt a headache as to how to get out. The path was sealed. Even though he was a star venerate, it was not easy for him to escape. The existence that set up this place far surpassed his cultivation. Suppressing him did not give him any pressure at all. I don't know about that. The elders might know, but if they knew about you, they would definitely chase you out or kill you. The little girl shook her head. You are indeed quite xenophobic. Yi Tianyun shook his head. You are not xenophobic, and you are even willing to save me. If the other elders knew that I killed the green demon race, would they still reject me? They will. You are all not good people. You will all capture us. The little girl pouted, feeling extremely angry. Yi Tianyun felt awkward. Although he was not very clear about this, they were both precious spirit herbs, so they would definitely be taken away. But you don't reject me. Yi Tianyun shook his head. You killed the holy king of the green demon race. He killed my parents. The little girl's eyes dimmed, and sorrow welled up in her. Yi Tianyun was silent. No wonder the little girl chose to save him. It turned out that she wanted to take revenge. Otherwise, she would not have come out. Even if she had a familiar aura, she would not have come out. Cough. Cough. Is there no other way for me to get out? Yi Tianyun hurried to change the topic. If he stayed on this topic, the little girl would definitely cry. Compared to this, he really wanted to leave this place. He had gotten what he wanted, so it was about time to leave. Although he was somewhat curious about this place, the current situation did not seem very good. Not only did he not get anything good, but he also got injured. Of course, killing so many green demons had helped his cultivation advance quickly, which was pretty good, especially when he had gotten the Star Venerate's blood. The most important thing was the situation of the Jade God ancestral land. He guessed that if he had not shown up, they would have attacked the Celestial Pole ancestral land. Who knew that the Five Elements mountain would close so soon? They also did not know that the treasures inside were actually a pile of green demons. It was a complete scam. I can only ask. The little girl said after remaining silent for a while, but since you helped me take revenge, I will help you find some information. If I can't find anything, you can stay in my place. As long as you don't wander around, you can go out smoothly when the next time the mountain opens. The Five Elements mountain would not close forever. It would open again. At that time, Yi Tianyun would be able to go out easily, but the next time would be many years later. How long would he have to wait? At that time, the Celestial Pole ancestral land would be completely destroyed. What he cared more about was his own faction. If it continued to be controlled by the Jade God ancestral land, it would be extremely disgusting. Alright, lead the way then. Yi Tianyun could only rely on the little girl now. He hoped she could find a way out. Follow me. The little girl waved her hand and trotted forward. She turned into a gust of wind and moved forward. Yi Tianyun followed closely. Soon, a strange scene appeared. When she left the area, the passage behind her quickly closed and returned to its original appearance. This was no longer a passage, but a type of drilling technique. She could go wherever she wanted. There was no need to dig a hole or anything like that. Following the little girl's lead, she ran for a while before stopping. We are here. Don't release your aura later. If I am detected, I will be punished. The little girl nodded to him. Then, she waved her hand and a hole appeared above. Then, she led Yi Tianyun up. After going up, it was a small house with many exquisite furnishings. Everything was decorated warmly. There was no doubt that this was the little girl's room. As soon as she came back, there was a knock on the door. Dong, 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 Cai Shui, are you inside? Chapter 1958. The moment the door was pushed open, Cai Shui was dumbfounded. She did not think that there would be such a coincidence. It was too late to reopen the tunnel now. Everything had been filled up. Yi Tianyun wanted to hide, but there was no place to hide. This place was too spacious. There was basically no place to hide. As for any invisibility techniques, they were useless. The weakest cultivation here was probably at the Star Apostle level. There was no way to use it. Following that, a beautiful woman pushed open the door and entered. When she saw Yi Tianyun and Cai Shui, she was stunned. She did not think that there would be an unfamiliar man in this room. The key was that this unfamiliar man was not from the five-colored divine race. At this moment, Yi Tianyun's body moved. He immediately arrived in front of the woman. He extended his hand and quickly tapped on her body a few times, sealing her power. At the same time, he dragged her in and quickly closed the door. Everything happened in an instant. This kind of technique scared Cai Shui. She did not think that Yi Tianyun would be so fast. Don't hurt my sister. Cai Shui rushed forward. She was worried that Yi Tianyun would hurt her sister. Obviously, in the face of kinship, she was more concerned about her family. This was human nature. Cai Shui bringing Yi Tianyun back was already against the rules. Cough cough, I did not hurt her. I was just afraid that she would cause some chaos. If it was discovered, you would be punished. Yi Tianyun coughed lightly and said, I only sealed her power. You two can have a good chat later. I really did not mean to hurt you. I just wanted to leave this place. The girl who was caught opened her mouth wide. She looked at Yi Tianyun in a daze. She was also shocked by the scene in front of her. Her cultivation was not high. But no matter what, she had the cultivation of a Star Master late stage. She was easily sealed. The opponent had at least the cultivation of a Star Master. An expert with this level of cultivation had actually sneaked in and entered her sister's room. She wanted to speak, but she couldn't utter a single word. Her entire body was sealed, so she naturally couldn't speak. Shortly after, Yi Tianyun looked at her and warned, "Later, I'll decipher your voice. Don't shout or scream, it's meaningless. As for the details, you can ask your sister. She will give you a reasonable answer. Once again, I have no intention of harming you, nor do I have any intention of capturing anyone. I'm just passing by." Following that, Yi Tianyun extended his hand and tapped on the girl's voice, releasing it from the seal. After the girl's vocal cords were unsealed, she didn't scream. Instead, she asked coldly, "Who are you?" "Who I am isn't important. What's important is your sister's explanation." Yi Tianyun was very satisfied with this girl's attitude. As long as she didn't shout and attract the attention of the surrounding people, it wouldn't be a problem. He didn't want to be beaten up. He wasn't afraid of being besieged. However, seeing that it wasn't easy for the five-colored god race to cultivate, he didn't want to do anything to harm them. Shortly after, Cai Shui began to explain to her sister. In general, she said that she witnessed the battle and saw Yi Tianyun kill the Green Devil Saint King. She wanted to help. Kill the Green Devil Saint King. Cai Shui's sister was called Cai Yun. Cai Yun and Cai Shui were a pair of blood-related sisters. This meant that Yi Tianyun had basically helped her take revenge. "I understand more or less. It's normal for my sister to help you." Cai Yun nodded. Her gaze didn't soften, but it was still so sharp. It was obvious that she didn't trust Yi Tianyun. Even if he helped to kill an enemy, her attitude wouldn't change much. After all, the human heart was the hardest to guess. After so many times of being hurt, it was impossible to trust them so easily. "As for the way out, I'll help you find out. Correspondingly, you have to stay here and don't wander around. I'll arrange for you to go to another room. When the time comes, just don't wander around. If we find the exit, we'll naturally tell you. If we can't find it, you'll have to wait for the next time the door opens." Cai Yun was very calm. Her attitude was also very cold. She wasn't afraid of being killed by Yi Tianyun at all. In her opinion, if they were killed, they would notice very quickly. At that time, they would definitely be surrounded and attacked by their race. They wouldn't be able to escape even if they wanted to, especially since this was their race's territory. "No problem. Do whatever you want. When in Rome, do as the Romans do." Yi Tianyun shrugged. His injuries hadn't healed yet, so it would be hard for him to make a move. Following Yi Tianyun's help to undo all the seals, Cai Yun didn't do anything else. She just brought him out of this room and into another room. The situation outside was that there were rows of houses made of five-colored godstones. From the outside, it looked very luxurious. Apart from that, there were many large formations set up. The key was that this was a special space. It didn't belong to the world that the Green Devil clan stayed in. This was actually a small world. Generally speaking, it would be safer and wouldn't be disturbed. Seeing this situation, Yi Tianyun couldn't help but look at Cai Yun. In such a situation, could Cai Yun still slip out? "Hurry up and come in." Cai Yun saw that Yi Tianyun was still looking outside and quickly dragged him into the house. "Don't stay outside. If you're discovered, it'll be terrible," Cai Yun said sternly. "I'm just looking a few more times. Do you have to be so strict?" Yi Tianyun spread his hands helplessly. "It's that strict. If you're discovered, not only will you die, but will also be punished," Cai Yun said in a low voice. "It seems that you're really xenophobic." Yi Tianyun smiled faintly. "If you've been caught by all the races, I think you'll definitely think the same as us." Cai Yun grabbed her sister and said, "You stay here and wait for our news. If you run away, we can't help you." Yi Tianyun said to Caiyun. Caiyun said, "You stay here and wait for our news." Then she left with her younger sister. Before Cai Yun left, she cast a glance at Yi Tianyun. There was pity in her pretty eyes. The two of them left quickly, leaving Yi Tianyun alone in the room. Yi Tianyun didn't run around. Instead, he sat down to rest and recover from his injuries. His injuries hadn't recovered yet. He had to take advantage of this opportunity to recover quickly. Let's recover quickly. As long as it isn't a star venerable, no one can stop me. Yi Tianyun closed his eyes to continue recovering from his injuries. Chapter 1959. Yi Tianyun was not familiar with them, but judging from their attitude, they would not tell on him. Even though Cai Yun was a more upright person, she could only help him keep it a secret. The reason was simple. He could come here because of her sister Cai Shui. That was why he could do this. If she told on him, Cai Shui would be punished. This was the rule here. If she brought someone else here, she would be severely punished. Therefore, Cai Yun would not tell on him. Otherwise, her sister would be punished. If she told on him, he would not worry. As long as it was not a star venerable, he would be able to stop them. As for other star lords, as long as they were not extremely powerful, he could suppress them. If they fought with their lives on the line, Yi Tianyun did not mind washing this place with blood. If they came here to kill him, he would be a fool if he just sat there and waited for death. Although he felt sorry for Cai Shui, he had no choice but to fight. Of course, if there was no problem, he would not fight. He was not a cruel person. Through this rule, Yi Tianyun guessed that a similar situation must have happened in the past. That was why there was such a rule. The rule was not set randomly. It had happened before, so it was added. It could be seen that this was not the first time this place had been opened. It had been opened a long time ago. But it did not open every time. After all, this time the heaven crystal was flashing, reminding him of the change in the situation. In the past, there would not have been such a change. Yi Tianyun thought for a while, then stopped thinking about it. He immersed himself in recovering from his injuries. Just a little bit more, and I will recover completely. By then, even if the Green Demon Holy King comes back to life, there will be nothing to worry about. Unless they all have a lot of star venerable blood. Yi Tianyun closed his eyes and recovered quickly. The power of the 5 elements here was very rich. If he absorbed a little more, he would be able to replenish his consumption. It was many times better than the outside world. This was a small world built by the 5-colored holy race. The energy here was much richer than the outside world. It was not only good for cultivation, but it was also good for recovery. At the same time, over at Cai Shui and Cai Yun's side, Cai Shui was being taught a lesson by her elder sister. I don't care if you sneak out often, but this time you actually brought someone in. Sister, don't you know the rules here? Cai Yun lowered her voice, but there was a hint of annoyance in her voice. Sister, I know the rules of the tribe, but he helped us kill the Green Demon Saint King, our enemy. Cai Shui was young, but her temper was very stubborn. She didn't have the slightest hint of repentance. That's true, but that's what they wanted to do. We didn't ask them to do it. You don't have to save them. Tsai-Yun hugged her younger sister and said with emotion, if he takes you away, what will big sister do? Her eyes reddened, and there was some sadness in them. Cai Shui buried herself in her sister's bosom. She was startled at first, then hugged her sister and said in a low voice, Sister, I'm sorry, it's okay. He doesn't look like a bad person. Let's help him this once. Cai Yun sighed. Things had already happened. There was no point in being angry. Sister, I feel a very familiar and intimate aura from him, so I don't think he's a bad person. Cai Shui added after thinking for a while. Familiar and intimate aura? I don't feel it. Cai Yun frowned. After thinking for a while, she shook her head and said, forget it. Anyway, let's help find the exit now. If we can't find it, he can only wait until the next time it opens. Cai Shui nodded and didn't say anything else. She followed her sister into the study. After the two of them entered, they kept looking through all kinds of records. They wouldn't be so stupid as to directly ask where the exit was. Once they asked, they would definitely be suspected. Therefore, they could only use this kind of stupid method to help Yi Tianyun find the exit. For a moment, the two sisters kept looking through all kinds of records, trying to find some clues. Hey, it's rare to see you two reading here. An old man walked over and said with a smile. Grandpa Chi. The two of them were shocked. They hurriedly hid the panic in their hearts and looked at Grandpa Chi with a smile. We want to come in and see what happened in the past. We want to see the history of our five-colored god race. Cai Yun was the older sister. She immediately thought of an excuse. Yes, it's good to know the history of our five-colored god race. Back then, our five-colored god race was the best in this world. Unfortunately, Grandpa Chi sighed deeply and began to reminisce. Piles of memories began to pour out. They could only listen. It was boring, but they could only listen. However, not long after, Cai Shue's big eyes turned and she suddenly asked with a smile, Grandpa Chi, speaking of which, have we never planned to go out? Go out. Grandpa Chi shook his head and said, if we want to go out, it's not impossible. When we completely suppress the green demon race, we can go out. Suppress the green demon race, we know that. But other than that, is there any other way out? Cai Shue asked. There is. Why do you ask this question? Grandpa Chi looked at Cai Shue with a puzzled look. I'm just asking purely out of curiosity. Cai Shue's small hands clenched tightly. She felt a little nervous. The two of you listen to me. Don't ever think about going out. The outside world is very dangerous, especially for our race. It's even more dangerous. Don't trust other races. All of them are sinister and cunning. Grandpa Chi's face was serious. There was no trace of the peaceful expression he had before. The two sisters looked at each other. It seemed that they wouldn't be able to get anything out of him. After some idle chatting, they could only shake their heads and sigh. This time, they wouldn't be able to find anything. Soon, the two of them returned to the room and saw Yi Tianyun smiling at them. Is there any news? It seems that there isn't any good news, right? Yi Tianyun felt that his condition had basically recovered. Seeing their dejected faces, he knew that he wouldn't be able to get anything out of them. There is a passageway, but we can't ask or find it. It seems that you can only wait until the next time it opens. Cai Yun's expression was still cold and emotionless. As expected. Then when is the next time it opens? Yi Tianyun asked. He didn't have any hope in the first place. If he could know, he would have known long ago instead of asking. This kind of thing would definitely be classified as a taboo. Cai Yun thought for a moment and said, about 10,000 years. It only opens once every 10,000 years. Chapter 1960. 10,000 years, he thought it would at most be a few hundred years, at most 1,000 years. He didn't expect it to be 10,000 years. After 10,000 years, he didn't know what the situation would be like. Let alone 10,000 years, even if it was a few hundred years, he wouldn't be able to wait. After all, who knew what the ancestral land of the Jade God would do to those lower realms? Especially when someone in the three realms successfully broke through to the God Emperor stage, this kind of disgusting thing would definitely happen. 10,000 years, I can't wait at all. This is too long. Yi Tianyun shook his head. If the teleportation godstone could be used, he would have left this place easily. He didn't expect that there would be a huge pit here. He thought that there would be some kind of amazing treasure. Now, it seemed that it was a dead end. There's nothing we can do, we can't find any other passage. If you don't want to stay here, I can send you out. The area outside is vast, you can find other passages at will. Cai Yun's attitude was still cold, without the slightest bit of politeness. Big sister, if you send Big Brother out, wouldn't he be in danger? There are many green demon race outside, if he is surrounded, it will be difficult to escape. Cai Shue hurriedly advised. Didn't you say that he killed the green demon Holy King? Even the green demon Holy King was killed, why would he be afraid of the other green demon race? Cai Yun didn't believe that Yi Tianyun could kill the green demon race. This time, there were many heaven crystal stones, and they all ran in. It was possible that he was exhausted to death by a group of people, and not killed by Yi Tianyun alone. Their five-colored god race had been fighting the green demon race for so long, but the green demon Holy King was still not killed. It was enough to show how difficult it was to kill. This kind of thing, they were naturally happy to see. The death of the green demon Holy King was a good thing for them. The green demon Holy King was killed by Big Brother. I even saw it with my own eyes. But if you go out casually, it will still be very dangerous, and Big Brother is injured. Cai Shui still advised. Her eyes were filled with worry. It seemed that Cai Shui was still very concerned about Yi Tianyun, and was unwilling to send him out. Sister, I don't object to your compassion, but if he wants to find the passage himself, do you think I'll force him to stay? Cai Yun touched her little head, then looked up at Yi Tianyun and said coldly, it's up to you whether you want to stay here or leave to find the passage. All right, then I'll leave this place and search for the passageway. Yi Tianyun didn't continue to stay here. There was no good way for him to stay here. Moreover, he couldn't go out, so he might as well go out and find another passage. No. Cai Shui grabbed Yi Tianyun's big hand and said with tears in her eyes, Big Brother, you can't go, it's very dangerous outside. Yi Tianyun reached out and rubbed her little head, smiling, it's all right, I can even kill the Green Demon Saint King, why would I be afraid of the other Green Demon race? Besides, I can't find a way out even if I stay here. Cai Shui shook her head. It was fine to lie to a child, but she wouldn't believe it no matter what. However, she didn't expose him, but stayed at the side and watched. Anyway, as long as Yi Tianyun didn't hurt her sister, it would be fine. Then you should at least wait until your body is fully recovered. Cai Shui saw that she couldn't persuade him to stay, so she could only say so. All right, then I'll wait until my body is fully recovered. In about a month, I'll be fully recovered. Yi Tianyun estimated his own situation. Under the situation where his body was constantly recovering, he still needed a month. The injuries this time were too serious. If it was another cultivator, who knew how many years it would take? His recovery was considered fast. That's great, then Big Brother, you can stay here and rest. Cai Shui smiled happily. Even if she couldn't help Yi Tianyun leave, at least she could let him stay here until his body was fully recovered. Cai Shui sighed at the side. It seemed that her sister was too kind. She didn't even know when she would be sold. Since my sister said so, then you should wait until your body is fully recovered. After your body is fully recovered, you have to leave this place immediately. Cai Shui's tone was strict, and she still didn't give him a good look. I will. Yi Tianyun didn't pay attention to her. He chose to stay because of Cai Shui. If it wasn't for Cai Shui urging him to stay, he wouldn't want to stay here. His movements were restricted here, so naturally, he didn't want to stay here. After a series of instructions, it was nothing more than that he couldn't walk around casually and could only stay in this room. If someone came, he should immediately conceal his aura and not act rashly and so on. Yi Tianyun listened to everything. Anyway, he only needed to stay for a month, so he was too lazy to walk around casually. After the instructions, Cai Shui left with Cai Shui and didn't continue to accompany him here. Time passed day by day. Cai Shui often came to chat with Yi Tianyun and often asked about the situation outside. Yi Tianyun was willing to chat and told her about the situation outside, which made Cai Shui exclaim again and again. She didn't expect the outside world to be so colorful. When Cai Shui knew about this situation, she could only shake her head and sigh. Anyway, Yi Tianyun was only staying for a month. She would let her sister chat with him for a month. During this period, Yi Tianyun also learned a lot of things and knew about the situation of the five-colored god race. They stayed here, not because they were trapped, but purely to complete a mission. The mission they received was to suppress the green demon race. The green demon race wasn't a race of this world, but a race from the underground world. They were responsible for guarding the passage that the green demon race used to come up. Even so, there were still many green demon race rushing up, which gave them a headache. The one who gave them this mission seemed to have saved the five-colored god race, which was why the five-colored god race was responsible for suppressing the green demon race. No matter what, they were indeed arch-enemies. The opening of the passage was completely due to the distortion of time and space, causing the formation to malfunction, allowing foreign cultivators to come in at will. Normally, they wouldn't be able to come in. Therefore, the situation that occurred last time was the distortion of the formation, which temporarily weakened it, allowing them to come in with the heavenly crystal stones. As time passed, it was soon going to be a month. Yi Tianyun's injuries had completely recovered, and it was about time to leave. Strange, why haven't I seen Sister Cai Shui come these few days? Yi Tianyun was a little curious. Previously, Cai Shui would often come to find him, but now she hadn't come for a few days. Could it be that she had discovered something? Just as he was thinking about this, a familiar aura came from outside. She pushed open the door and hurriedly said, "Big brother, it's not good. The green demon race is attacking. Quickly run." Chapter 1961. That's right, the green demon race is attacking. Even without the green demon holy king, they will still attack. This time, they gathered so many green demon races because they want to attack us in one go and destroy our five-colored divine race. At that time, they will escape from this seal and go to the outside world. Cai Shui grabbed him and prepared to dig a hole to escape. It seemed that she had a fixed place to escape to. However, even if she could escape, her clansmen could not. This was their small world, and their entire base was here. It was impossible for them to abandon this place and escape. Furthermore, where could they escape to? The outside world was only so big. As long as the green demon race continued to find them, they were destined to be surrounded. So they gathered so many green demon races to attack. Yi Tianyun remembered that when he came in, he saw so many star boats. So they were planning to attack. It was just a coincidence that he ran into them. At the same time, when the green demon race saw outsiders, they naturally would not let go of the opportunity to devour them. Now that they had gathered so many green demon races, it was impossible for them to leave just like that. Even without the green demon holy king, they would still attack. This was an opportunity, and an opportunity that only came once in 10,000 years. After spending this period of time with Cai Shui, he had a rough idea of the situation. The opening of the passage every 10,000 years was actually because the seal was unstable and distorted. Not only could cultivators come in, the rest of the green demon race could also run up from the depths of the ground. This was the corresponding situation between the two. This time, it was unknown how many had run up, but from Cai Shui's expression, there would definitely be a lot. It seemed that the group he had destroyed last time was only a portion. There was still a large portion that had not been cleared out, but they had moved to the other side, probably to outflank the five-colored divine race. However, he did not expect the green demon holy king to be killed by him. He did not know what was going on with the green demon race. Yes, they are all surrounded outside. If we don't escape now, it will be too late. Cai Shui grabbed him and drilled into the ground. Yi Tianyun pulled her over and said in a deep voice, "Why don't I stay and help you guys? Maybe I can help you guys get rid of a portion of the green demon race. This way, you guys won't reject me. As his savior, this way, the five-colored divine race would definitely not reject his suggestion, which was to let him leave this place. If he really had to wait for 10,000 years, wouldn't he go crazy? No, it's different this time. Even if they don't have the green demon holy king, they will have the green demon battle saint. The green demon holy king is only one of them. Not only that, there are also many experts." Cai Shui said anxiously, "It'll be too late if we don't leave now. They're already deploying a grand formation, wanting to trap us completely. At that time, even if you want to leave, I won't be able to bring you along. The green demon race has two such powerful experts." Yi Tianyun was taken aback. He had thought that the Green Demon Holy King was the current emperor of the Green Demon race. However, the Green Demon race had several current emperors. It was no wonder that even after the Green Demon Holy King was killed, they were still able to send people over. They were not without a leader and still had a large number of experts to lead them. Yes, there are still two omnipotent masters, so you better hurry and escape. Cai Shui continued to lead him into the cave. If that's the case, all the more I shouldn't leave. Yi Tianyun shook his head and said, "Not only for me to leave, but also for the safety of the outside world. If these green demon race were to run outside, I'm afraid it would also cause chaos outside. The green demon race was so disgusting. If they were to break the seal and leave, then the forces he brought up would also be in danger." It wasn't that he wanted to protect this world, but he was thinking about his own future situation. The ancestral land of the Jade God was disgusting enough. Now that there was the green demon race, wouldn't it be even more disgusting? In addition, now that he had sent charcoal in the snow, he could even get the 5-colored god race to acknowledge him. Why wouldn't he do this? But Cai Shui wanted to say something, but she was dragged out by Yi Tianyun. There's no but. Don't you know that I killed the green demon holy king? Not to mention killing 2 holy kings. If I can kill one, then you guys won't feel so much pressure. If I'm injured, please help me heal. Yi Tianyun smiled at her. Cai Shui nodded her head. Now that things had come to this, she could only do this. Her cultivation was not strong, so she could not help much. If Yi Tianyun could help, that would be even better. Ding. Successfully accepted. Resist the green demon race's encirclement and rescue the 5-colored god race. Completed the quest and obtained the 5-colored god race's favorable impression of you. At the same time, you have obtained a chance to level up the system's skills, can be accumulated. The mission that popped up caused Yi Tianyun's eyes to light up. He had just received a lot of missions, why not? Then you go out first. I still need to prepare. Yi Tianyun was not in a hurry to go out. Instead, he wanted to adjust his condition and prepare some things. When the time came, he would kill his way out. Alright, then I'll go out first. Cai Shui nodded her head. Without any hesitation, she turned around and left. After walking out of the room, she had only taken a few steps when she saw Cai Yun rushing over. When she saw her, she sighed and said, "No wonder I couldn't see you. You must have gone to send him away, right? I thought he would stay and help us resist the Green Demon clan. It seems that I was thinking too much. Let's go. Even if we die, we must fight to the last moment." Cai Yun grabbed her and walked out. She did not persuade Cai Shui to escape or anything. Sometimes, a mission was more important than anything else. Moreover, they really could not escape from the outside, unless the elders let them use a secret passage or something. Cai Shui opened her mouth and thought for a while, but did not say anything. Immediately, the two of them quickly rushed to the front line. At this time, the ceiling formation outside had already been surrounded by a group of Green Demon Clan. Numerous Green Demon Clan members were attacking the ceiling formation frantically, wanting to destroy the strong ceiling formation here. Outside the formation, there were waves of fluctuations. For the time being, they could still hold on. However, if they were attacked continuously, they would not be able to hold on for too long. You evil beasts, you have sealed us for so long. Let's see if you can hold on this time. Last time, you managed to block us. Let's see how you block us this time. Outside, a green demon star venerate wearing green battle armor said. He was the green demon battle sage. His cultivation had reached the late stage of star venerate, and he was basically as strong as the green demon holy king. In some aspects, he was even stronger than the green demon holy king. Not bad. Last time, we underestimated your ability. Let's see how you block us this time. Another one was the green demon holy master. He wore a green robe, and a strange energy spread around him. Chapter 1962. The two green demon race star venerates were in front. Not only them, but there were also many green demons outside. They had completely surrounded this place. It seemed like there was no place to escape, but in reality, there was an escape route. However, the green demons were not worried that they would escape. The entire formation's eye was here. If the 5-colored divine race escaped, they would be very happy. Even if they sealed this place, they would only seal off a small area. They did not want to let so many 5-colored divine race people escape. They could not completely seal it off for now. In this small world, the 5-colored divine race's clan leader G, was also a late-stage star venerate. In addition, there was another star venerate beside him. This was an elder. However, the green demon race's star venerate elder's cultivation was relatively low, only a mid-stage star venerate. As for star venerate, there was no one. After all, it was not that easy to break through. Even though there were many 5-colored divine stones here, they could not casually break through to star venerate. The difficulty was simply too high. Aside from this, there were also many 5-colored divine race people here. However, compared to the green demons, there were much fewer of them. Even Grandmaster Xing was much fewer than the other party. The two could not be compared at all. The main reason was that there were very few five-colored divine race people in the first place. Because of some matters, the five-colored divine race had almost been exterminated. After so many years, they had not recovered. It was impossible for their numbers to be that high. In particular, it was easy for other races to capture them, causing their numbers to be even lower. No one captured the green demons at all. Otherwise, there would not be enough to capture no matter how many there were. Just from appearance, it was clear that the five-colored divine race was more likable. It's not that easy to destroy us, clan leader Ji said coldly. Even if we fight to the last man, we will not admit defeat. Furthermore, it is still uncertain who will win this time. That's right. Don't think that our five-colored divine race will be so easily destroyed by you. Even if we die, we will drag you down with us. Elder Ma Zi also roared, his eyes bloodshot. They were already fighting to the death. This had nothing to do with responsibility. They just wanted revenge. The green demons had killed many of their five-colored divine race people, so it was even more impossible for them to retreat. The other five-colored god race also roared out loudly. Their morale rose explosively and they were in high spirits. None of them were cowards. Even the two sisters, Cai Shui and Cai Yun, had red eyes and wanted to fight with them. Their parents had died in the last battle. Even though the green demon Holy King had been killed, their anger had not been completely extinguished. Unless the entire green demon race was destroyed, their anger would not be appeased. Humph. That's quite a morale boost. Do you really think that we're not prepared at all this time? The green demon battle saint waved his hand, and a few drops of star venerable blood floated in his hand. The green demon sacred master beside him also threw out a few drops of star venerable blood. They really threw caution to the wind and used the Star Venerable's blood without holding anything back in order to take down the five-colored divine clan. Not only that, but the bodies of the Green Devil tribe members in the surroundings also began to emit green light, vaguely wanting to release their own life force so that they could erupt with their strongest power. You have the Star Venerable's blood. Do you think we don't? Clan Master Ji and the others also waved their hands, and the blood flickering with five-colored divine light floated in their palms. This was also the Star Venerable's blood, and the power it released seemed to be even stronger than the green demon race's blood. However, the difference was that they had too few people using it. They were all at the Star-Lord level, and they were weaker than the green demon races. Not only that, but the Star Dharma images in their bodies also erupted and floated into the sky. They all had the same five-colored divine statue Star Dharma images, and they were all top-notch level 5 Star Dharma images. As for level 6 Star Dharma images, they did not have them yet. Compared to the green demon race, they all had Star Dharma images. On the green demon race's side, only a few green demon race members had Star Dharma images. Star Dharma images. It's all because of your seals that we don't have Star Dharma images. Today, you will all die. The battle sage image behind the green demon battle saint rose up, holding a giant blade, ready to cut down all living creatures at any time. If it wasn't for your impudence, how could you have fallen to such a state? Clan leader Ji said coldly. We are enforcing justice on behalf of the heavens. We are destined to suppress you to the point where it will be hard for you to turn over a new leaf. I heard that your green demon Holy King was killed by foreigners. The heavens really have eyes. The foreigners don't like you. Hearing clan leader Ji's words, their faces darkened. This matter had indeed exceeded their expectations. They never thought that the green demon Holy King would die, and the green demon god's son would also die. This was undoubtedly a great loss. Haha, hard for us to turn over a new leaf. Even if the green demon Holy King was killed, do you really think we have this little bit of power? The green demon battle saint smiled and glanced to the side. Old friend, why aren't you coming out? Let me see your former companion. Immediately, a five-colored light appeared beside him. His entire body was emitting five-colored divine light, not green light. It was not the green demon race that appeared, but the five-colored divine race. When everyone saw him appear, they all revealed angry gazes. Among them, clan leader Ji said angrily, Traitor, if it wasn't for you, our five-colored divine race wouldn't have suffered such a great loss. Clan leader G, what you said is wrong. What's the point of our two families fighting each other? What kind of promise are we keeping? What a bunch of bullshit, a waste of time. Ji Fanyun's expression was calm and disdainful. If our two families joined hands, the outside world would be ours, and we wouldn't be trapped in this broken place. Impudent. That is the responsibility of our benefactor. Without that benefactor, we would have been destroyed long ago. Clan leader Ji shouted angrily. Responsibility? Our responsibility is to be a watchdog. Ji Fanyun said coldly, we've been doing this for so many years, and we don't even know where he is. The green demon race is not weak. If this continues, our five-colored divine race will be destroyed sooner or later. If our benefactor really wants to deal with the green demon race, he should deal with them together, not leave us here. I've had enough of this kind of life, it's not interesting at all. Look, I've been out for so long, where's that benefactor? I don't even see him, and I don't even know where he died. Keep your promise, promise my ass. The faces of the people from the five-colored divine race turned ugly. What he said was true, but even so, they could not go back on their original promise. While they were cursing non-stop, Yi Qianyun took out the golden divine grass and started to consume it. He did not use the 9-turn-star grass, but he used the golden divine grass. He did not plan to keep it. Chapter 1963. Originally, Yi Qianyun had planned to give the golden divine grass to others or himself. Regardless of which, he planned to use it to refine pills. After all, the effects would increase after refining pills. It was undoubtedly very worth it. However, the situation was different now. He needed to face a group of green demons and several strong existences. Hence, he needed to improve himself. If the golden divine grass was not very effective, he would use the 9 revolution star grass to improve himself. The green demon Holy King was simply too strong. Now, there were 2 existences on par with him. Naturally, he needed to improve himself. He did not want to use the star venerate blood. After all, it was a waste. The main thing was that the star venerate blood was much more precious than the golden divine grass. Hence, he planned to use the golden divine grass first. After Xiao Chen consumed the golden divine grass, a golden energy poured into his body and started circulating. At the same time, a faint layer of gold appeared on the 5-colored emperor dragon in his body. It was like it was advancing to a higher level. Soon, the 5-colored emperor dragon in Xiao Chen's body gained a faint layer of light. Its level had really increased. Congratulations on successfully allowing the 5-colored emperor dragon to break through to the star dharmic aspect unique to the 2nd layer. Its might has increased 5-fold. The star dharmic aspect unique to the 2nd layer? Yi Qianyun's eyes lit up. From this news, he could clearly feel that this star dharmic aspect could really be upgraded. From the records, there were very few related records, almost none at all. From this, it could be seen that the difficulty of upgrading was too high. Hence, there were no records. Or perhaps even if there were, many experts were not willing to say it, lest the information be leaked. It looks like this is information that only star venerates and above can obtain. Yi Qianyun boldly guessed that this information had been circulating for a long time. However, it was not circulated outside but internally. In such a situation, the fewer people that knew, the better. The key was that the difficulty of upgrading was too high. One could not raise one's level at will. Another conjecture was that only a high-grade Dharma idol would be able to increase its level. For example, only a star dharmic aspect above rank 5 could raise its level. After consuming the golden divine grass, one had to slowly raise it to rank 5 first before it could bring about such an effect. Or perhaps, this is a special privilege that only the star Dharma idol has. Yi Qianyun narrowed his eyes as he thought of this possibility. Otherwise, how could there be no information at all? There were very few people who possessed a unique star Dharma idol, and even fewer people knew how they could increase their level. Therefore, it was very likely that it was an effect that could only be achieved with the star Dharma idol. If that's really the case, the advantage of having a unique star Dharma idol will be even greater. I'll be able to widen the gap between us immediately. Yi Tianyun squinted his eyes and smiled. The golden divine grass is said to be able to enhance one's perception, but it's probably only for those with lower levels of star energy. For those with unique star energy, the golden divine grass is a great supplement to increase their level. Speaking of which, what are the effects of the 9 revolution star grass? Perhaps I can continue to level up. Even Yi Tianyun wanted to give it a try, but he felt that it was about time. After all, after leveling up, its power had greatly increased. He couldn't say that he could defeat everyone, but at least he wouldn't end up in such a sorry state when facing opponents who had taken the Star Venerable's blood. Then there was the 9 revolution star grass. If he used it to concoct pills, his strength might increase even more. If he really couldn't, he could use it to increase his level. It's about time. It's time to go and take a look at the situation. It's not too late. Yi Tianyun stood up. His aura was even stronger than before. His sharpness was more reserved, and he could explode with the power to kill at any time. Just as Yi Tianyun was about to set off, the seal outside was about to be broken. The main reason was that with Ji Fanyun's help, the speed of breaking the seal had greatly increased. Ji Fanyun was originally a member of the 5-colored divine race's upper echelon. Now that he had come to help, the seal would naturally be broken faster. My clan chief Ji, cooperate with us obediently. Otherwise, I'm afraid that not many of the 5-colored divine race will survive. Ji Fanyun's expression was cold. He wasn't worried about the 5-colored divine race being destroyed, or rather, he didn't care about the 5-colored divine race's survival. As long as they didn't cooperate, they would die. Don't be stupid. Even if we die, we won't surrender. Clan Chief Ji's gaze was ice cold, but his heart had fallen. If this went on, they would definitely be defeated. The other party had 3-star venerates. Apart from that, the other party's battle prowess was equally shocking. It was already not something they could resist. Originally, they could rely on this formation to gain the upper hand. Now that the formation was about to be broken, how could they gain the upper hand? Is that so? Then all of you can die. Ji Fanyun absorbed the surrounding 5 elements' energy and ruthlessly smashed it against the barrier. There was an intense impact, and the barrier nearly shattered. However, it wasn't far from shattering. Under the fierce impact, it was immediately covered in dense cracks. It looked very tragic. If it was hit 1 or 2 more times, it would definitely shatter. Quickly, bring the younger generation and leave this place. Hurry. Clan Chief Ji finally gave the order to bring the younger generation and leave. Otherwise, it would be too late to escape. Yes. Among them, Grandpa Chi immediately stood up and brought Cai Shui and the others away. These were the youngest generation and also the generation with the most potential. Naturally, they had to be brought away. There was no point in staying here, and they wouldn't be of any help. Previously, when they said that they would rather die than retreat, that they would rather live or die together, this was only referring to their group, not the younger generation. We won't leave. We will also stay here and fight. Right, we won't leave. We are not afraid of death. Even if we die, we will not let the green demon race succeed. I would rather die together with them than leave. Facing the powerful impact, just the fluctuations were enough to make their faces pale. However, they still clenched their teeth and refused to leave. Go. Grandpa Chi swept them away with his powerful strength. They didn't even have the ability to resist before they were taken away. No matter how they struggled, it was meaningless. Under Grandmaster Xing's power, they had no power to resist. But at this moment, there was a loud boom as the barrier was smashed open. Ji Fanyun and the others rushed in and coldly said, "None of you can leave." For a moment, the experts of the Green Demon race all rushed over. As for the other 2 Green Demon race star venerates, they immediately used their strongest power. A green light barrier enveloped this area, making it impossible for anyone to leave. Chapter 1964. Ji Fanyun and the others quickly charged in. Among them, the 2 Green Devil Star Sovereigns used all their skills to trap them inside. Everything was ready. They did not seal the entire small world, but when they charged in, they trapped the 5-colored divine race in front of them. Bang! The group of juniors that Grandpa Chi brought hit the green light curtain and were repelled. When they were repelled, the juniors that they brought fell to the ground, not lightly. Grandpa Chi's condition was even more serious. Just touching the green light curtain drained a large portion of his life force, especially his right arm, which had collided with the light curtain, directly shriveled up. It looked like only skin and bones were left. No matter what, Grandpa Chi was in existence with the cultivation of a Star Master. Just touching it caused him to be in such a state. If someone with a lower cultivation touched it, wouldn't they immediately turn into a pile of skeletons? This situation caused their expressions to change. They did not expect these fellows to be so ruthless. They had long been prepared, and it was a very terrifying kind. Grandpa Chi, are you all right? They rushed over and helped Grandpa Chi up from the ground. Grandpa Chi's body trembled slightly, and his shriveled arm quickly recovered. However, his face was still pale. His arm had recovered, but it was still exhausted. Especially since the life force in his body had been extracted, it was not something that could be easily replenished. The reason why the Green Devil race was so terrifying was because of their life force extraction. Furthermore, it was very terrifying. Just touching it would suck a large portion of one's life force. In addition, this was set up by a Star Lord, so the effect was even more shocking. I'm fine. Grandpa Chi's face was frighteningly pale, without any color. Seeing this, the expressions of clan leader Ji and the others changed. It seemed that if they did not break out of this situation, they would not be able to escape. This time, we came prepared. We will definitely not fail like last time. Ji Fanyun's expression was cold as he sneered. I'll ask you one last time. Are you going to surrender or resist? Die, traitor. Clan leader Ji's answer was simple and crude. The power behind him instantly erupted, and the powerful Star Dharma immediately fused with him, turning him into a 5-colored statue with 6 arms, waving colorful halos. This was their Star Dharma, the 6-armed 5-colored god. Without too much nonsense, they immediately started fighting. Humph, a bunch of people who overestimate themselves. Ji Fanyun also had a 6-armed multicolored god behind his back. Its power was no weaker than Patriarch Ji's, and the two were on par. The one-on-one Green Demon Star Sovereigns were not a problem. However, the other 2 Green Demon Star Sovereigns were in big trouble. They pounced down one after another, immediately exerting a strong might on them. The 5-colored deity race only had 1 Star Venerate. Even if they fought to a draw, there was still another Star Venerate. Who could defend? Boom. Horrifying energy erupted in the air. The 4-Star Venerate level existences were already attacking their opponents relentlessly. Among them, the 5-colored deity race's Elder Ma Zi even used the Star Venerate's blood. After he used the Star Venerable's blood, the 6-armed 5-colored god on his back instantly turned into an 8-armed 5-colored god. Layers of power stacked on top of each other, turning into the strongest power. The power of the Star Venerable level spread in all directions, and the power it brought with it turned the green demons nearby into ashes. Elder Ma Zed's cultivation wasn't high, and he could only choose to use the Star Venerate's blood when facing the Green Demon Sacred Master. Even though it was extremely rare, he could only use it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to persist for a long time. Even so, there was still the remaining Green Demon Star Sovereign. No one could stop him. The strongest of the 5-colored deity race's remaining combat prowess was only late-stage Grandmaster Xing. Even if a late-stage Grandmaster Xing used the Star Venerate's blood, he would not be able to bring out the best effect. He would only be able to use half of it. If the difference in cultivation was too great, he would not be able to use the Star Venerate's blood. Only a Star Venerate could make full use of the Star Venerate's blood. Otherwise, he would not be able to bring out the best effect. Furthermore, even if he could use it, he would not be invincible. There was still a large difference between him and a Green Demon Battle Sage. The Star Venerate's blood was not invincible. It could not allow a Grandmaster Xing to fight a late-stage Star Venerate expert, who was several levels above him. After all, this was only 1 drop. If there were several drops, or even a dozen drops, the effect might be more obvious. However, where would they get so much Star Venerate's blood? Every drop used meant one drop less, and there was very little left. The green demon race's side seemed to have a lot, but that was all they had. Star venerates were not cows. Their essence blood could not be casually squeezed out. Squeezing out 10 drops was already their limit. Furthermore, they could only squeeze out 1 drop at a time, not so many in one go. If they really squeezed out all of them, they would probably die. Thus, when the green demon battle sage pounced down, their expressions turned unsightly. Clan head G and the others were very anxious, but they could not leave to help. They could only watch as the green demon sacred master pounced down. What's wrong? Worried? It's useless. This time, you will definitely die. When Ji Fanyun saw how anxious clan head Ji and the others were, he felt even more delighted. This kind of expression made him even more excited. Cai Shui and the others paled under this pressure. They did not even have the strength to stand up. The difference in cultivation was too great, and their bodies were about to explode. Even if I die, I won't let you have your way. Grandpa Chi stepped forward. His cultivation was the strongest here. He held 3 drops of Star Venerate's blood in his hand, ready to erupt. He could only use it now. Otherwise, no one would be able to block the green demon battle sage. Oh! A mere Grandmaster Xing wants to use the Star Venerate's blood to suppress me? You are too naive. The green demon battle sage stretched out his hand and pressed down. He snorted coldly and said, I'll deal with you first. You suppressed us for so long. This time, it's our turn. Grandpa Chi clenched his teeth and prepared to consume the Star Venerate's blood. Cai Shui's face turned pale. She could not help but look back. She shouted inwardly, Big brother, why haven't you come yet? In her mind, only Yi Tianyun could come to help. If Yi Tianyun did not come, Grandpa Chi would definitely die. If he used 3 drops of Star Venerate's blood in one go, he would not have long to live. This was the problem of the body's container. When it exceeded a certain capacity, the body would definitely explode. Sister, it seems like we cannot escape. Cai Yun held Cai Shui's hand tightly and said with a smile, After we go down, I'm afraid we won't have the face to see father and mother. They had thought about killing many green demons with their own hands. It seemed like they would not have such a chance. No, there is still a chance. Big brother will come to save us. That human? Cai Yun asked confusedly, didn't he escape? Before her voice had died away, the green screen behind them was suddenly split open, and a giant hole appeared. A giant 5-colored emperor dragon pounced on it and pressed down. The green demon battle sage was sent flying with a slap. Growl. Chapter 1965. Just like that, the battle saint of the green demon race was slapped to the ground. With a loud bang, a deep pit was formed in the ground. The terrifying power caused everyone's heart to tremble. Everyone's gaze was attracted by this. They were all deeply shocked by the figure of the 5-colored emperor dragon, especially the power that was above everything. It was simply an invincible existence. As soon as it arrived, it used its strongest stance to suppress the green demon battle saint. After sending the green demon battle saint flying, it swung its tail crazily. A large number of green demons were swept away. The green demon race that was swept by it basically had a slim chance of survival. Those who could survive would at most be on their last breaths. What a strong power, is it helping us? When Patriarch G and the others saw this, they were all shocked. Suddenly barging in, breaking through the green screen, and then killing their way in here to help suppress the green demon battle saint. No matter how they thought about it, they would never have thought about this. Naturally, they did not think that there would be helpers coming to help. Their 5-colored divine race had always been here to seal the green demon race. As for allies, they did not have any at all. Thus, it was impossible to hope for any allies to save them. Now, someone had killed their way in and helped them resist the green demon race. Upon closer inspection, they found that the figure inside was actually a human. Human race. It's actually a human, could it be? Patriarch G and the others immediately thought of the news they had heard before, that a human had killed the green demon Saint King, and that green demon Saint King. Why would he appear here and help them resist the green demon race? When the green demon race saw Yi Tianyun's face clearly, They all let out furious voices. They immediately recognized Yi Qianyun as the murderer who killed the Green Demon Saint King. Why is this guy here? Good, I didn't expect your five-colored divine race to join hands with other races. You would rather ally with an outsider than the Green Devil race? Ji Fanyun was shocked and angry. He did not expect such an existence to appear. Everything was somewhat beyond his expectations. That's right, even if we join hands with outsiders, we will not join hands with the disgusting Green Demon race. Patriarch Ji naturally lied. This way, he could deceive his opponent. All right. Then let's see if an outsider like you can help you get through this. Ji Fanyun roared, continuing to suppress his anger. When Green Demon Holy Lord saw Green Demon Battle Sage being sent flying, his eyes turned red and he roared in anger, "Audacious human, come and die." His own clansmen were sent flying, coupled with the fact that the Green Demon Holy King was killed, he immediately turned and charged towards Yi Qianyun. They planned to eliminate Yi Qianyun first, then deal with the five-colored god race. While Rosy Cloud was preparing to fight with Yi Qianyun, she was stunned. When she saw Yi Qianyun's figure, she immediately recognized him. He was the cultivator that her sister saved before. The tyrannical power caused her body to tremble. She exploded the Green Demon Battle Sage with a single palm strike. Such an invincible aura caused her to be shocked speechless. Previously, she thought that Yi Qianyun's power was not bad, but he must have borrowed the power of others to suppress his opponent. Now, it seemed that he did not need the power of others. Just the power of his own Star Dharma idol was enough to crush everything. "Sister, I said that he would definitely come back to help us." Cai Shui waved her small fist, her face flushed with excitement. Cai Shui was very excited. Just as she was about to lose hope, Yi Qianyun finally came and sent the seemingly invincible Green Demon Battle Sage flying with a single palm strike. This performance was enough to let them see hope. Yes, yes. Cai Shui stared blankly at the godlike Yi Qianyun, her heart filled with all sorts of emotions. Previously, she thought that Yi Qianyun had escaped, but who knew that he did not leave and stayed here? At this most dangerous moment, he finally came and saved them. Now that the green screen has been broken, let's take this opportunity to leave. Grandpa Chi's eyes lit up. For the time being, regardless of why Yi Qianyun came to save them, now that the green screen had been broken, they could take this opportunity to quickly escape. Immediately, Grandpa Chi brought them and quickly escaped outside. If the green screen closed again, they would not have the chance to escape. Although they were still a little reluctant, looking at the current situation, it was still better to leave. Following them, they quickly escaped through the green screen and disappeared outside the passage. Before Cai Shui finally left, she looked over worriedly. She wanted to stay and see how Yi Qianyun was doing, but it seemed that it was not possible at the moment. Staying here would only be a burden. "Don't worry, we can still pay attention to the situation here." Cai Shui knew her sister's thoughts and reminded her from the side. "Could it be that we are hiding in the temple?" Cai Shui was startled and asked doubtfully, "We can't go in normally, can we? You said that we can't go in normally, but at the critical moment, we can still go in." Immediately, under Grandpa Chi's lead, they entered the temple in the distance. As soon as they entered the temple, Grandpa Chi opened the seal's protective cover and surrounded the temple tightly. "You should stay here. As long as the Star Venerable does not come out, no one can break into our temple. At the critical moment, you can still escape through the transmission formation inside. If you have to, it is better not to escape." Grandpa Chi glanced at them, then turned around and flew out of the temple. As one of the strongest fighters here, it was impossible for him to hide here. Cai Shui looked into the depths of the temple and immediately understood what Grandpa Chi had meant. The transmission formation inside could probably allow them to leave this sealed land and go to the outside world. If the five-colored Holy Clan went out, they would be very conspicuous. Unless they huddled together, they would be easily captured. That was why Grandpa Chi said that they could only leave this place if they had to. However, Cai Shui's attention did not leave this place. Instead, she was focused on Yi Qianyun, who was at the forefront. From here, she could clearly see the situation on Yi Qianyun's side, so her attention was focused on Yi Qianyun. Big brother, you must hold on. Cai Shui put her palms together and prayed inwardly. He definitely can. Cai Shui, who was next to her, hugged her sister. Seeing Yi Tianyun's domineering figure in front of them, she also hoped that this outsider could help them resist the Green Demon clan. Especially now that even the Green Demon's sacred master was attacking them. Could he hold on? Swoosh. Chapter 1966. Facing the two powerful star venerates, Yi Tianyun remained calm. This was especially so for the Green Demon battle sage, who had already consumed a drop of star venerate blood. An endless stream of life force surged out of his body, quickly healing his injuries. Originally, under Yi Tianyun's ferocious attacks, even if he did not die, he would not be able to get up for the time being. After all, after he broke through, his strength had increased significantly. Under his ferocious attacks, even ordinary star venerates would be killed in one move. This was especially so for those unprepared star venerates. They would be instantly killed. The Green Demon battle sage was prepared, but he was still covered in injuries from Yi Tianyun's attacks. He could not fight at all. He could only rely on the star venerate blood to recover from his injuries. Otherwise, not to mention fighting, he could only watch from the side. You are the human who killed my brother? The Green Demon battle sage's body erupted with a terrifying power. The power of a star venerate vaguely started to pressure him. This caused the astral energy above Yi Tianyun's head to dim slightly. This was the difference in cultivation realm. The suppression of cultivation realm was also extremely horrifying. The other Green Demon Holy Master also surrounded Yi Tianyun. The two of them surrounded Yi Tianyun, sealing off all his escape routes. Your brother? Are you talking about the Green Demon Holy King? So what if I killed him? Yi Tianyun had an indifferent expression as he looked around. He did not feel any danger at all. Then go to hell. The two late-stage star venerate experts surrounded him. The images behind them soared up crazily. The astral energy above them spread out in all directions. The strong pressure increased the pressure on the five-colored holy race's side. This was especially so for the Green Demon battle sage, who had consumed the star venerate blood. He even had 15 cubes of astral energy. They attacked as soon as they said they would. They did not have time to chat. They still needed to deal with the five-colored holy race. There were many things they needed to do. When the two of them worked together, even if it was wood-attributed energy, they still had the power to destroy the world. This situation made the hearts of Cai Shui and the others tighten. Even the five-colored holy race, who did not know why Yi Tianyun saved them, tightened their hearts. They also hoped that Yi Tianyun would be able to hold on and help them resist all of this. They really didn't have any extra power to resist the Green Devil race. Everything had been consumed before. The rest of the Star Masters were also resisting the Green Demon race. However, there were too few of them, and it was still too difficult to fight against them. Everything rested on Clan Head Ji and Yi Tianyun. Only by defeating the opposing Star Monarchs could they turn defeat into victory. The strongest combat power was often the most important. For cultivators, strength in numbers was just nonsense. Facing the encirclement of two star venerates, Yi Tianyun turned around, and his huge dragon eyes flashed. Then, he opened his jaws and swallowed fiercely. Devour the stars. Yi Tianyun's gigantic figure leaped forward and swallowed the Green Demon Battle Saint's star power in one gulp, the star power of the four directions. Logically speaking, it should be able to devour stellar energy from 5 directions. However, this energy was simply too strong, and it could only devour stellar energy from 4 directions. Of course, this was already heaven-defying enough. After devouring it, it rushed to 16 directions of stellar energy in one go. It wasn't over yet. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed, and he rushed towards the Green Demon Holy Lord on the other side and swallowed fiercely. Devour the stars. Once again, he used the Devour the Stars and swallowed the stellar energy from 4 directions above the Green Demon Holy Lord. However, he only used 2 directions of stellar energy, thus reaching 18 directions of stellar energy. A total of 18 directions of stellar energy, an extremely terrifying level. The entire starry sky trembled because of him. With a slight tremble, The power seemed to turn into a crushing star, suppressing everything. He can even devour our stellar energy. This is still 18 directions of stellar energy. The green demon battle saint and the others were all stunned. They weren't very clear about Yi Tianyun's fighting style. Now that they saw it, their hearts trembled and they were scared out of their wits. Devouring the opponent's stellar energy and superimposing it on himself. This kind of effect was really too terrifying. The five-colored divine race's side was even more stunned. All of their mouths were wide open, unable to say anything. They had always thought that their abilities were shocking enough. They didn't expect an even more terrifying existence to appear. Big Brother, too powerful. Cai Shue's body trembled, her beautiful eyes filled with surprise. As long as one wasn't a fool, they would know what power 18 directions of stellar energy represented. Primal chaos rage. Yi Tianyun didn't waste any words with them. He opened his huge mouth and a huge beam of light swept out, hitting the green demon battle saint. Then, it swept to the side and hit the green demon holy lord again. The remaining power once again swept out in all directions, and a large area of Grandmaster Xing was turned to dust. When this attack disappeared, almost half of the Grandmaster Xing that it had brought with it were gone. If it wasn't for Yi Tianyun worrying about attacking the five-colored divine race, the number of deaths would have been more than this. Under the sweep, the two late-stage star monarchs of the green demon race disappeared. Only Yi Tianyun was left in the sky. The tyrannical dragon might made everyone's legs go soft. Perhaps this was true invincibility. Clan head Ji was also stunned. Ji Fanyun, who was fighting with him, flew to the side and looked over in a daze. If his two-star venerate companions were defeated, then what was the point of fighting? How could a one-on-one fight be fun? He would definitely be toyed to death by the five-colored divine race. This was especially so for this tyrannical five-colored emperor dragon. With a slap, he would probably be sent flying. What kind of monster is this? Why is he helping the five-colored divine race? Why? Ji Fanyun was about to go crazy. All his meticulous plans were ruined by an intruder. Could he be the descendant of our benefactor? Clan head Ji was startled. Such tyrannical power, it was very likely that he was the descendant of our benefactor. What dog's hit descendant of our benefactor? This is impossible. That powerhouse didn't leave any information behind, and it's impossible for him to have any descendant. Ji Fanyun immediately retorted, but he didn't believe it in his heart. After all, why would an outsider help the five-colored divine race? This was something he couldn't understand. Even if he wasn't the descendant of our benefactor, he was definitely a helper of the five-colored divine race. It's over. Cai Shui and the others looked over in a daze. In just one exchange, he had crushed two green demon race experts. This was too fast. How long had it been since the start? On the other side, Yi Tianyun heaved a sigh of relief. He felt that after his strength increased, the effects were astonishing. Originally, the swallowing starry sky could only devour the star power of one person. However, after he broke through to the second layer, he could devour the star power of two people. From this, it could be determined that after reaching the third layer, wouldn't he be able to devour the star power of three people? Chapter 1967. Yi Tianyun felt that swallowing the golden divine grass had been a wise decision. Otherwise, it would not have been easy to deal with the two Star Lords. Now that he had broken through, he had reached a whole new level. Even though his cultivation level had not increased, the increase in his combat prowess was very obvious. Rumble. Two pillars of light soared into the sky, and the horrifying star venerable power spread out in all directions. Everywhere they went was devoured by the horrifying green pillars of light. Even the green demon race's own people were quickly sucked dry. Some of the five-colored divine race's members who had not escaped were instantly sucked dry, on the verge of death. This horrifying power meant that the two green demon star lords were not dead. Instead, they had consumed the star venerable's blood to prolong their lives. Boom! The two green demon star lords flew up. Only their small heads were left on their bodies. However, their bodies were quickly reconstructing, and they would soon recover completely. They had almost died. If not for the Star Venerable's blood helping them resist the damage, they would have been killed instantly. No wonder you could kill the Green Demon Holy King. We underestimated your power. But everything ends here. The Green Demon Battle Sage shouted angrily, "We will use all the Star Venerable's blood. Even if a Star Venerable comes, we can kill him." Each of them had consumed at least 3 or 4 drops of Star Venerable's blood. Their power soared crazily, and their power stacked up. They really looked like Star Venerables. This effect was similar to what the Green Demon Holy King had used previously. They had both used a fierce attack as a final burst of power. However, Yi Tianyun was now facing 2 Green Demon Holy Kings, not just one. If he had concentrated his power to attack them like before, they would not have been able to resist. He was not invincible. His power had increased, but his defense had not increased much. But even if he had increased his power, he would still die if he was attacked by 2 freaks. Yi Tianyun did not find it strange that they were so tenacious. If they could die so easily, they would not be the Green Demon Battle Sage and the Green Demon Holy Master. They had the Star Venerable's blood in their hands. As long as they did not deliberately want to die, they would have an extra life. The 2 of them are not dead yet, their faces were pale. The group of 5-colored god race in the temple wailed in their hearts. After the emergence of such a terrible power, the 18 square of star power above Yi Tianyun began to lose some of the star power was forcibly taken back. This was the difference in realms. If the difference was too great, the other party's stable state would be very abnormal. Naturally, it would be difficult to devour it. In the blink of an eye, the astral power from 18 cubes became 14 cubes. However, they all had 15 or even 16 cubic meters of star power, so they seemed very weak. Both of them have exploded, your helper is dead for sure. Previously, when the Green Demon Holy King was killed, it was only one person. Now that there are 2 of them, he is dead for sure. Even if it's a unique Dharma idol, it won't do. Ji Fanyun wasn't in a hurry to fight family head Ji. Instead, he watched from the side. In fact, he even moved a little to the back, ready to escape at any time and ready to fight immediately. How despicable. You even used the Star Venerable's blood. If you didn't have the Star Venerable's blood, you would definitely die. Family head Ji said coldly. What a joke. The winner takes it all. Why are you talking about other things? Aren't you too childish? Ji Fanyun said mockingly. Of course, if you give him the Star Venerable's blood, you will also have the Star Venerable's blood. However, the Star Venerable's blood probably won't have any effect on him, right? Our Star Venerable's blood will only have an effect on our race. It won't have any effect on others. Family head Ji's face turned ashen. That was right. Their 5-colored god race's Star Venerable's blood couldn't be used by others. The main reason was that the attribute wasn't suitable. It could easily cause confusion. If it was used casually, not only would it have no effect, it might even cause one's body to explode. On Yi Tianyun's side, facing the 2 exploding Star Venerables, his expression became serious. He knew that if he didn't strengthen himself, it would be difficult to deal with them. Then, when his gaze shifted to Grandpa Chi, his eyes immediately lit up. Friend, can you give me a drop of the Star Venerable's blood? Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up when he felt the Star Venerable's blood in Grandpa Chi's hand. He could feel the surging power of the 5 elements contained in it. This power was very effective for him. It could even be said to be a perfect match. Grandpa Chi was stunned. He wanted to use a drop to erupt with power to resist the Green Demon race. Now that Yi Tianyun asked, he didn't know what to do. I'm afraid you can't use this Star Venerable's blood. If it's not used by our race, it might cause problems. Grandpa Chi didn't refuse immediately. No matter what, Yi Tianyun was helping them resist the Green Demon race. If not for Yi Tianyun, they would have been suppressed long ago. Don't worry, I can use this thing, Yi Tianyun said hurriedly. The 2 Star Venerables of the Green Demon race were about to pounce on him. If he didn't hurry, it would be too late. But Grandpa Chi didn't have the power to decide. He could use it, but the real decision to give to Yi Tianyun was naturally made by the Patriarch. Give it to him. Patriarch Ji immediately shouted, motioning for Grandpa Chi to give it to him. Grandpa Chi nodded and immediately threw the Star Venerable's blood to Yi Tianyun. Yi Tianyun held the drop of Star Venerable's blood in his hand and felt the rich power of the 5 elements in it, which made him feel refreshed. This was indeed the Star Venerable's blood. Especially this kind of unique Star Venerable's blood, it made him feel like his body was boiling. He felt that if he used it, he would definitely erupt. When the 2 green demon race saw Yi Tianyun get the Star Venerable's blood, they didn't panic at all. If Yi Tianyun was from the 5-colored divine race, they might panic a little. However, Yi Tianyun was from the human race, so there was no need to panic. Haha, do you think that after getting the Star Venerable's blood and using it, you will be stronger than us? What an idiot. If you have the ability, quickly use it. The Green Demon Holy Master and the others all knew the consequences of using the Star Venerable's blood other than the 5-colored divine race. They couldn't wait for Yi Tianyun to use it immediately. This way, they could save time and effort. They wouldn't need to spend much effort to subdue Yi Tianyun. Lord Patriarch, why did he let Grandpa Chi give him the Star Venerable's blood? If he uses it, there will be problems. When Cai Yun saw this, she became anxious. Wasn't this a bad thing? No, I feel that after Big Brother uses it, there will be no problems at all. He will only become stronger. Cai Shue's eyes flickered. She had a feeling that after Yi Tianyun used it, he would definitely usher in a brand new power. But he is from the human race, not our 5-colored divine race. Cai Yun still didn't believe that Yi Tianyun would be fine. Not to mention her, even Patriarch Ji didn't believe it. Chapter 1968. Yi Tianyun did not have the Star Venerable's blood, but he could still fight against the 2 Green Demon Star Lords. After all, he still had the Green Demon Star Venerable's blood, and he could still use it. Other people thought he could not use it, but he knew his situation. He could use the Star Venerable's blood of any race. His constitution meant that he could use all the effects of the Star Venerable's blood. The 5-colored Emperor Dragon's tyrannical power alone could subdue all tyrannical powers. In addition, he had the power of the 5 elements, so he could use all kinds of powers. He had asked Grandpa Chi to give him the Star Venerable's blood, so he had to use it as much as possible. Did he have to use all the Star Venerable's blood he had? No matter what, he had come to help. It would be unreasonable if he did not give them some help. Fortunately, they had given him some, which made him feel relieved. Do you think I will explode if I use the 5-colored Divine Star Venerable's blood? Yi Tianyun held the Star Venerable's blood and looked at the 2 Green Demon Star Lords surrounding him with a smile. They had been about to attack him, but now they had stopped. They were obviously confident that he could not use the Star Venerable's blood. They were sure that Yi Tianyun could not use the Star Venerable's blood. Once he used it, it would only cause great harm to his body. It would not bring him any benefits. It's hard to say. You will know once you try it. They smiled wickedly, waiting for Yi Tianyun to use it. If it were the 5-colored Divine Star Lord, they would have attacked long ago to stop him. Ji Clan's master wore a grave expression. He was not confident at all. He did not know why he did not refuse when Yi Tianyun asked for the Star Venerable's blood. Ji Clan's master, you played your cards well. It seems like you have pinned all your hopes on him. Ji Fanyun smiled. He had been able to resist for a while. But now, if he used the Star Venerable's blood, he would be able to kill Yi Tianyun without doing anything. Even if I pinned all my hopes on him, it would be better than pinning them on you. Ji Clan's master looked at him coldly. Ji Fanyun sneered, my way of thinking is the correct one. It's better than hiding here. As for dealing with the Green Devil race, that's just wishful thinking. The Green Demon race has an extremely strong power in the underground world. If they can all come out, our 5-colored divine race will definitely be pushed to the point where not even a speck of dust remains. So what? I only know what to do and what not to do. Ji Fanyun, you are wrong. Patriarch Ji said coldly. Whether it's wrong or not, we'll see if your reinforcements take the Star Venerable's blood. Ji Fanyun coldly snorted. At this moment, Yi Tianyun picked up the Star Venerable's blood and stuffed it into his mouth without any hesitation. After taking it, The surface of Yi Tianyun's body quickly glowed with 5 colors. Following that, he began to heat up. The surface of his skin was like a raging wave, rolling up and down. Ha ha ha, as expected, I can't absorb it. The negative effects are starting to appear. Seeing that, they started to laugh out loud. After the 5-colored divine race consumed it, such a situation would not occur. After Yi Tianyun consumed it, his body swelled up. It was obvious that his body was about to explode. With Yi Tianyun's cultivation, his body would not explode. However, suppressing this power, how could he divert his attention to fight? He could only let himself be slaughtered. He did not even have the strength to resist. Patriarch Ji closed his eyes in pain. It seemed that the miracle did not appear. They were really going to be finished. Cai Yun covered her mouth. This situation was obviously going to be finished. She had really believed Cai Shue's words before, that there would be a miracle. But the miracle did not appear. Yi Tianyun was going to be finished. It's okay. Big brother can do it. Cai Shue still believed that Yi Tianyun did not fail. The fluctuations on the surface of his body did not mean that he would definitely fail. Sister. Cai Yun shook her head and sighed deeply. She did not say anything more. She did not want to destroy her sister's fantasy, but the truth was like this. If there had been no rejection, he would have exploded all of his power like what they had done. His body would not have swelled up. What an idiot. I thought I would have to spend some effort. Now I don't have to. Kill him. The Green Demon Battle Saint and the others laughed. They were all ready to fight against Yi Tianyun. They had consumed the Star Venerable's blood, but they had to be cautious when facing such a powerful Yi Tianyun. Now, they did not even need to attack fiercely. Their opponent seemed to have lost his power to fight. When they had surrounded Yi Tianyun suddenly shouted and turned into the giant 5-colored Emperor Dragon again. The 5-colored dragon scales on the surface of his body became even more dazzling and darker. At the same time, a beam of starlight soared into the sky. The star power he had possessed increased to 20 cubic meters in one go. If not me, who else can do it? Yi Tianyun, who had turned into the 5-colored Emperor Dragon, was even bigger than before. His eyes shone brightly. He could make his opponent explode with just a glance. Roar. Yi Tianyun looked up to the sky and roared, and a violent power burst out in all directions. The powerful sound wave directly impacted the 2 Green Devil Star Sovereigns, forcing them to retreat. The Green Devil race, who was slightly further away, had his head exploded, and his soul exploded. 20 cubic meters of star power? They opened their eyes wide. They had never seen so much star power. The area it covered was even more shocking than before. The key was that there was a qualitative change above it. Under normal circumstances, it would only be a patch of silver light. But now, there was a Milky Way above it. The light shining down was like a bright moon, and the surrounding stars had become dim and lifeless. What kind of star could be brighter than the moon? Primal chaos rage. Yi Tianyun opened his mouth and condensed a giant energy cannon. It was at least 20 times more powerful than before. Awful. Run. The Green Demon Battle Saint and the others were so scared that they turned around and fled. A sense of death welled up in their hearts. They were naturally sensitive, and they knew they could not resist it. They could only flee. But how could Yi Tianyun let them escape? The terrifying death beam swept out once again. Everything in its path was reduced to ashes, including the Green Demon Battle Saint and the Green Demon Holy Master. They were instantly engulfed and turned into ashes. Merging with the Star Venerable's blood was useless. They were directly destroyed by the destructive light. Not even a speck was left. Ding. Successfully killed the Green Demon Battle Saint. Obtained a drop of Star Venerable's blood, Green Demon race. Ding. Successfully killed the Green Demon Holy Master. Obtained a drop of Star Venerable's blood, Green Demon race. Yi Tianyun's mind was only focused on the Star Venerable's blood. He completely ignored the star energy points. Although it was a large amount of star energy points, it was still a drop in the ocean for him. Chapter 1969. When the experience and rewards popped up, Yi Tianyun could confirm whether his opponents were dead or not. Before, when they did not pop up, he knew that the two Star Lords were not dead. Now that he had been ejected, he was certain that his opponent was dead for sure. Moreover, it was the kind of death that was certain. It's over. The battle is over. Yi Tianyun returned to his original form and let out a deep breath. The two Star Lords were dead, so the situation was under his control. All that was left was Ji Fanyun. As long as he suppressed Ji Fanyun, everything would be over. The rest of the green demons were like trash. With a sweep, they were easily dealt with. I have to say that the Star Venerate's blood is really powerful. If my body was not strong enough, I would not have been able to endure such a surging power. When Yi Tianyun took the Star Venerate's blood, he immediately felt his body churn. Actually, it was the energy flowing to his limbs. He was different from the five-colored divine race. After they took it, it would only appear in their bodies, but for him, it would appear on the surface of his body. When he frantically strengthened his body, this kind of terrifying situation would appear. But that was all. It did not cause him any harm. It only seemed slightly terrifying, but it would not cause him any harm. Thus, in the eyes of others, Yi Tianyun's body was about to explode, or something had happened to his body. In reality, it was just a slight change in his body. From this, it could be seen that the Star Venerate's blood was not something other cultivators could feel. He had relied on his strong body to endure such a strong power. Correspondingly, after enduring it, the power he erupted with surpassed his imagination. He had not expected it to increase by so much. Being able to reach 20 units of stellar power was largely due to the effects of devouring the stars. Otherwise, just relying on the Star Venerate's blood would not have been able to achieve such a high effect. Then he looked in Ji Fanyun's direction. Ji Fanyun was slightly startled, then he turned and fled. He was already quite far away. After exploding with speed, he disappeared from everyone's sight in the blink of an eye. Ji Fanyun had indeed prepared everything and was ready to escape at any time. He fled as soon as he said he would, without any hesitation. You want to leave? Yi Tianyun naturally would not let Ji Fanyun escape. As long as it was an enemy of the five-colored divine race, he would not let them go. Only in this way would the five-colored god race be even more grateful to him. His body flashed and the wind force in his body rolled up. With the help of 20 cubes of astral power, his speed became even faster. In the blink of an eye, he tore through the void and traveled forward. A moment later, Yi Tianyun appeared, flicking his wrist and sending a figure flying back toward him. A figure fell from the sky like a meteorite and smashed into the ground. It bounced a few times before finally falling limply to the ground. Everyone looked carefully and realized that it was Ji Fanyun who had just escaped. Right now, let alone Fanyun, he was feeling dizzy and paralyzed on the ground. His entire body was half crippled, and the power in his body had been suppressed. Against Yi Tianyun's strength, he could not resist at all. Unless he took the Star Venerable's blood, he would not be able to resist Yi Tianyun's power. However, he didn't have a Star Venerable's blood, so he couldn't even take it if he wanted to. Such a scene stunned everyone. After all, these were 3-star Venerate experts. Yet, they were like dogs, beaten up so badly that they could not resist. They all wondered if a Star Venerable had descended. Otherwise, how could he be so strong? However, they could still feel that Yi Tianyun was only a late-stage Star Venerable, not a Star Venerable. After Yi Tianyun knocked Ji Fanyun back, he did not stop. Instead, he turned around and charged at the other green demons, continuing to eliminate them. He did not want to waste so much astral energy. He would earn as much as he could. He would not let go of any astral energy. Kill. The five-colored god race's morale soared. They were already very courageous in the first place. Now, their morale was even higher. As the green demons pressed forward, when they saw the Star Venerates die, their hearts died as well. The beings they believed in the most had been killed in an instant. Furthermore, they had been killed by a human. They could not accept this. Even the Green Demon Holy King had been killed. This meant that the 3 lords had all been killed by Yi Tianyun. He was simply the bane of the Green Devil race. He had killed so many experts here, causing the Green Devil race to feel like dying ashes. Now, Yi Qianyun swept all the Green Demon clan in his way, and he killed every single Green Demon clan member he encountered. Not a single Green Demon clan member escaped. As long as they touched him, they would be killed. As Yi Qianyun swept through the remaining Green Demons, Clan Master Ji looked at Ji Fanyun, who was at his feet. He was extremely shocked. He knew how strong Ji Fanyun was. He was not any weaker than him. Ji Fanyun had originally competed with him for the position of Clan Master. In the end, Ji Fanyun had been defeated. Although he could not become Clan Master, Ji Fanyun's strength was about the same as his. But now, he was being crushed. This was simply too shocking for him. This was the first time he had seen someone use a Star Venerable's blood to such an extent. He even felt that Yi Qianyun had not used his full power. He had been holding back. You lost. Clan Master Ji thought for a while and finally said, "You lost." "Ha ha ha, I lost. If you want to kill me or torture me, do as you please." Ji Fanyun laughed, his laughter filled with misery. He had not expected that his plan, which he had been so confident in, would fail just like that. Furthermore, it was a complete mess. "Don't worry. When the time comes, the entire clan will come to punish you. For now, let's deal with the matters here first." Clan Master Ji continued to add star runes to Ji Fanyun's body, sealing him even more firmly. Then, he handed Ji Fanyun to his subordinates to watch over him while he went to kill the Green Demons. There were still many Green Demons present. As the clan master, he naturally had to participate in the battle. Originally, he should have made a move against so many Star Venerates. Who knew that he would not even need to do anything before Yi Qianyun finished them off. As the clan master, he had not done much. This made him feel rather awkward. Now, he could only find some pride from the remaining Green Demons. "We won! We won!" Cai Shui hugged her big sister and started shouting, "I knew Big Brother would win, I knew it." She was very happy. At the start, she had thought that Yi Qianyun would win. Cai Yun had not believed in her. Now that she had won, she was naturally happy. This is really a miracle. Cai Yun muttered as she looked at the situation. Chapter 1970. Yi Qianyun had defeated all of the Green Demons. Most of them had been killed by him, not because he was actively helping the five-colored holy race, but because he wanted to earn more star energy. Only with more star energy could he level up. He couldn't wait to break through to the Star Venerable realm. Only by breaking through to the Star Venerable realm would he be able to control more power. By then, he would be able to destroy the Jade God ancestral land with a single stomp. However, he was still a long way from breaking through to the Star Venerable realm. "It's over," Yi Qianyun heaved a sigh of relief. His mind was somewhat exhausted. This was because he had consumed too much energy, especially the Star Venerable realm's blood. It was very powerful when consumed, but once its effects disappeared, his body would be severely exhausted. After all, this was a great explosion, and it required a body as a foundation. Naturally, it consumed the body's condition, which was why he seemed so exhausted. Seeing that all of the Green Demons had been eliminated, the only one who had survived was Ji Fanyun. Ji Fanyun wasn't a Green Demon, but a five-colored holy race. That was why he had survived. As soon as he stopped, he felt the gazes of the people around him. They were all filled with gratitude and shock. They didn't know why Yi Qianyun had helped them, but that wasn't important. All they needed to know was that Yi Qianyun had come to help them. Without his help, they would have fallen into the enemy's hands by now. "Friend, thank you for your help. If it weren't for you, we probably wouldn't have been able to resist this attack. But there's one thing I don't understand. Why are you in our world?" The Ji clan's master's eyes flashed. It was true that Yi Qianyun had helped them, but why was he in their world? That was another matter altogether. If he had been lying in ambush here, what would he have done? Or, how had Yi Qianyun managed to sneak in? Their world might not be impregnable, but at least it couldn't be casually entered. That's a long story. Before I answer, can Clan Master Ji not pursue the matter? Yi Qianyun said with a smile. "We won't pursue this matter. Even if you snuck in here to steal our treasures, we'll just accept it. Compared to those treasures, You have helped our five-colored divine race through this difficult time. This kind of kindness is extremely worth exchanging with treasures. However, I don't think you're here to steal our treasures. After all, if you really wanted to steal our treasures, you would have taken advantage of our crisis to escape and not come to help us. Patriarch G was very calm and didn't let his thoughts run wild. If it was really that kind of thief, he would have fled long ago. Why would he come to help? This investigation isn't about me. Of course, since Patriarch G has said so, you can let the two sisters Cai Shui and Cai Yun testify for me. They know what happened. Yi Tianyun was worried that the two of them would be punished, so he asked clan leader Ji to make a promise first. Cai Shui and Cai Yun. Patriarch Ji was startled. He had quite an impression of these two sisters. Their innate talents weren't bad, but they weren't the type that stood out. Why was he asking about them? Clan leader Ji gestured for them to bring him out. Now that they were safe, there was naturally no need to hide in the temple. Soon, Cai Shui and Cai Yun came over. As soon as Cai Shui arrived, she quickly rushed over and said excitedly, "Big brother, I knew you were very powerful. Big sister still didn't believe that you could defeat them." Yi Tianyun reached out and patted her little head. He smiled and said, "If it wasn't for your help, I wouldn't have been able to defeat them. What's going on?" This friend said that the reason he could come in is related to you. Patriarch Ji looked at them and asked. This. Cai Yun was a bit nervous, but she still told him everything in detail. After knowing, Patriarch Ji revealed an expression of sudden realization. The other elders also nodded. They didn't expect there to be such a connection. So that's how it is. It seems that Cai Shui brought back a strong helper for us. Patriarch Ji smiled and didn't blame the two sisters. At the same time, he rejoiced that Yi Tianyun wasn't the kind of person who would cause trouble. Otherwise, the clan would be in trouble. However, he somewhat approved of Cai Shui's actions. To be able to help eliminate the enemy who killed his parents, no matter what, he had to help. This kind of feeling was understandable. Indeed, if it wasn't for Cai Shui bringing me back, I really wouldn't have been able to help you. Yi Tianyun smiled and said, "This is a kind of repayment for Cai Shui. Since she helped me, I will help her. No matter what, compared to Cai Shui's kindness to you, your help is really much greater." Patriarch Ji smiled and said, "Let's not talk about anything else. After this matter is settled, we will definitely treat you well. Now, go and rest for a while. Leave the matters here to us." They were all very happy. This battle had very few losses, and they even caught the traitor Ji Fanyun. This was a great harvest. Yi Tianyun nodded and left the rest of the finishing touches to them. As an outsider, he naturally stayed in his room and waited for news. He believed that through this matter, the five-colored divine clan would definitely treat him well and treat him as a good friend. Immediately, he was led by Cai Shui and Cai Yun to the VIP room. He didn't need to hide in his room anymore. Instead, a very good courtyard was arranged for him. This time, the two sisters were completely used to serve him and listen to his orders. The main reason was that they were originally more familiar with Yi Tianyun, so they were sent to serve him. "Big brother, you're really too amazing. In the outside world, you must be the most amazing, right?" Cai Shui's eyes were full of stars. She worshipped Yi Tianyun very much. How could that be? In the outside world, there are many who are more amazing than me. Yi Tianyun smiled and said. Cai Yun pulled Cai Shui over and told her to be more polite. "Sir, this is our five-colored divine spring. Please have a taste." Cai Yun naturally wasn't as impudent as Cai Shui. She didn't dare to be as impudent as before. Instead, she completely put down her attitude and respectfully served Yi Tianyun. Yi Tianyun took the tea and took a sip. He smiled and said, "There's no need to be so restrained. It's good to be like before." Cai Yun's face turned red. How would she dare to do that now? At that time, she didn't know Yi Tianyun's strength. Now that he was the benefactor of the five-colored divine clan, she didn't dare to be impudent. I don't dare, Big brother is very kind. Why do you need to be so restrained?" "I still have a lot of things to ask Big brother." Cai Shui leaned over again and continued to stick to Yi Tianyun. Cai Yun felt very helpless. She could only let her sister do whatever she wanted. At this time, a melodious voice sounded in his ears. Ding, successfully completed resist the Green Demon Clan's encirclement and rescue the 5-colored Divine Clan. Obtained 100 points of 5-colored Divine Clan's favorability. At the same time, obtained a chance to upgrade the system skill, can be accumulated. System skill upgrade chance, can upgrade the skills you currently possess, except crazy mode. Chapter 1971. Yi Tianyun stayed here for a few days. During these days, delicious food and drinks were served to him. Apart from not being able to go out as he pleased, he was able to stay here and move around. Soon, everything outside was taken care of. Yi Tianyun followed them out. At this time, most of the area outside had been repaired. There were not as many traces of battle as before. He was invited to the palace, which was also decorated lavishly. Piles of fruit wine and spirit fruits filled the place. All kinds of delicacies were piled up. It was a grand feast. It looked like a grand ceremony, but seeing how they were staring at him, he guessed that they had arranged this kind of extravagance to welcome him. Star-Lord Skycloud, you're here. Clan leader Ji stood up and greeted him with a smile. Sorry to keep you waiting. We spent a lot of time repairing this place. It's all thanks to you that we were able to get through this. For this, we have set up decorations that are usually reserved for grand ceremonies. It's to thank you for your help. That's too much. Yi Tianyun smiled. He had seen this kind of extravagance before. However, they were so enthusiastic that he felt a little embarrassed. It's not an exaggeration. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid this kind of grand ceremony would never happen again. Clan leader Ji sighed, then maintained his smile. Forget it. Let's not talk about this. Let's celebrate first. Fellow clansmen, it's all thanks to Star-Lord Skycloud that we were able to get through this. Let's toast to him. Clan leader Ji raised his wine cup. Even though this place was rather isolated, this kind of toast was unavoidable. One by one, the clansmen raised their cups and toasted Yi Tianyun. Yi Tianyun also toasted them and drained his cup in one gulp. Next came all kinds of hospitality. The beauties of the multicolored divine tribe also sang and danced. No matter which tribe it was, this aspect was indispensable. Yi Tianyun accepted it calmly. Since they were treating him like this, he would definitely accept it. The atmosphere reached its peak during this celebration. Although they were still worried, at this moment, they threw away all their worries and participated in the festivities. Star-Lord Skycloud, the multicolored divine tribe has nothing to repay you with. However, we will still take out some rewards as repayment for your help this time. Patriarch Ji took out 3 rings and said with a smile, these are 5-colored divine grass, 5-colored divine stone, and 5-colored divine blood. These are all treasures of our clan. You can choose one of them as your reward. Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. All 3 were excellent treasures. The 5-colored divine grass was almost on the same level as the 9 revolution star grass, or even better. The 5-colored divine stone was a 5-colored divine stone that condensed the essence of the 5-colored divine stone. The energy contained within it was even denser and more powerful. It was no less precious than the 9 revolution star grass. As for the 5-colored divine blood, it was actually the blood of a star venerable. Since it was the essence blood of the 5-colored divine clan, it was naturally called the 5-colored divine blood. If he could get all 3, that would be the best. But now he could only choose one. He had to think about it carefully. Then I'll take the 5-colored divine grass. Yi Tianyun pointed at the 5-colored divine grass. After thinking about it, he felt that it would be more helpful. The 5-colored divine blood would allow him to explode with great power for a short period of time. It would not be permanent. Thus, he decided to take the 5-colored divine grass instead of the other 2 items. Clan Master Ji smiled. In the end, he handed the 3 rings to Yi Tianyun. He said, you are indeed different from other Star Lords. Other Star Lords would want all of them, not just one. I have seen too many greedy Star Lords. I admire Star Lord Heavenly Cloud. Thus, I plan to give you these 3 treasures as a reward. At the same time, I also want to deepen our relationship. From now on, you will be an honored guest of the 5-colored divine clan. You can come and be our guest at any time. Patriarch Ji gave all the rewards to Yi Tianyun, and one of them was to build a good relationship with him. How could he let go of such an expert? Especially since he did not have any ill intentions towards the 5-colored divine clan, it was all the more reason to befriend him. Then I won't stand on ceremony. Yi Tianyun was not a fool. Since Clan Master Ji had given it to him, how could he reject it? After he received it, his eyes lit up. Does that mean that Clan Master Ji has a passage to enter and exit at will? Of course there is. As the protectors of this place, we would be too careless if we did not even have a way out. Clan Master Ji sighed. As a last resort, we will not break our promise and escape from here. The real passage is inside the Divine Temple. Through the Divine Temple, we can leave this place. Similarly, we can enter this place through the passage inside the Divine Temple. So that's how it is. Yi Tianyun nodded. He had also guessed this situation. There was definitely a passage. It was just that they were not willing to escape. Star-Lord Heavenly Cloud, actually, I have a presumptuous request. I hope you can help me. Clan Master Ji hesitated before speaking. Speak. Yi Tianyun narrowed his eyes. It's actually very simple. The green demon race has not been destroyed. They are still suppressed below. There are no problems for now. The 3 Star Lords have been destroyed. They will not be able to come out in the short term. We hope that the next time they attack, you can come and help us. Of course, we will pay you handsomely. Clan Master Ji expressed his intentions in the end. He had arranged for so many things and given so many rewards. Everything was to pave the way for this. Once Yi Tianyun left, he would not have the chance to say it. No matter how thin-skinned he was, he had to brace himself and say it. After all, this concerned the safety of the 5-colored divine race. He did not trust the other powerhouses. After all, establishing a trustworthy relationship required a lot of trials. No problem. If there is any danger, contact me at any time. I will definitely rush over. Yi Tianyun agreed without even thinking about it. If he could obtain such a generous reward and kill this trash for star energy, why not? All right. Clan Master Ji's eyes shone brightly. He took out a 5-colored token and handed it over. This is our identity token. As long as you have this token, you will be able to receive our urgent messages. Unless it is urgent, we will not casually pass on messages. With this token, you can also enter the passage at will. This is also proof of our friendly relationship. Yi Tianyun took the token and accepted it. All right, I will accept it. Yi Tianyun smiled. I believe that sooner or later, you will be able to completely suppress the green demon race and escape. Chapter 1972. Clan Master Ji could only shake his head and sigh at Yi Tianyun's blessing. I hope that day will come. I don't see any hope yet, Clan Master Ji said, shaking his head. Clan Master Ji, haven't you thought about recruiting people outside so that we can attack together? Yi Tianyun thought about it and decided to ask. Of course I've thought about it. But the price must be very high. Our clan does have some resources, but we can't invite too many people. The cultivators outside often ask for exorbitant prices, and we are going to deal with the Green Demon Clan this time. This kind of mission is basically a battle to the death. How high do you think the reward is for them to accompany you? Clan leader Ji sighed deeply and pointed out the most difficult problem. The 5-colored Holy Clan had declined. How many resources could they have? Even if they invited a Star Lord, how many resources would they need? The 5-colored Holy Clan wasn't an invincible treasure house. They didn't have everything. When a Star Lord learned what kind of mission it was, he would ask for a high price. Yi Tianyun could imagine that. Even if the 5-colored Holy Clan emptied their resources, they wouldn't be able to invite many strong people. The 5-colored Divine Stone was good, but it was not enough. The 5-colored Divine Stone they gave to Yi Tianyun was called the 5-colored Divine Stone Essence. That was different. But they didn't have much 5-colored Divine Stone Essence, so they couldn't invite too many people. I see. Yi Tianyun nodded. He had a general idea of what was going on. I'm not afraid to tell you that we are waiting for that lord to come. Maybe we can win this battle, Clan Master Ji said as he looked at Yi Tianyun's expression. He wanted to see any changes on his face. However, Yi Tianyun's expression didn't change. He looked at him and asked, "Is that lord the benefactor of the five-colored holy clan that Cai Shui mentioned?" This. Yes, Clan Master Ji had guessed that Yi Tianyun had been sent by that lord, but it seemed he didn't know. I don't know how many years it has been. Maybe it doesn't exist anymore. Yi Tianyun shook his head. Even strong star venerables would die one day. Everything was possible. Therefore, even if one's strength was astonishing, it was still possible for one to die in some corner. Forget it, it's fine no matter what. Now, we can only rely on this. As long as our generation is still alive, we will uphold this promise. Patriarch Ji thought about it for a moment, then asked, "This is the responsibility of our generation. As for the next generation, when the time comes, we can only choose to retreat. After all, this matter had nothing to do with them. At that time, I hope that Star Lord Heavenly Cloud can take care of me. I will be eternally grateful. If it really comes to that, I'll help take care of it." Yi Tianyun sighed. He still has a very high respect for their idea of keeping their promise. It wasn't easy for him to do this. How many cultivators could keep their promises like the five-colored divine race? With such an attitude, if the day really came, he would definitely help to take care of her. "Thank you, Star Lord Heavenly Cloud. Let's not talk about this. Let's drink." Patriarch Ji didn't continue chatting. He continued to drink with Yi Tianyun and watch the beautiful dance in front of them. However, their minds were no longer on the dance. Soon, the feast ended. Everyone returned to their positions and continued to repair the damage in the small world. Yi Tianyun stayed for a day or two, then it was time to go back. On his way back, Patriarch Ji personally led him to the temple. "Big brother, are you leaving?" Cai Shui looked reluctant. She didn't want Yi Tianyun to leave so soon. "Yes, I still have a lot of things to do outside. But if I have time, I'll come back to see you." Yi Tianyun rubbed her little head. Cai Shui reminded him of his daughter, Yi Sishue, and his wife. Right now, his greatest wish was to quickly and firmly grasp his world in his hands. Only then could he be at ease. "Really? Then it's a promise." Cai Shui jumped up in surprise and hugged Yi Tianyun. These days, staying with Yi Tianyun was like having a big brother. It made her very happy. When Patriarch Ji saw this situation, he already had some plans for Cai Shui. That was to nurture Cai Shui well. It seemed that Cai Shui had a good relationship with Yi Tianyun. Then he would make good use of this relationship. Maybe Yi Tianyun would take care of him a little more for Cai Shui's sake. Soon, they arrived at the temple. The temple's construction was magnificent. It was built with five-colored divine stones. As soon as they entered, a huge statue came into view. This person looked very ordinary. It was like throwing him into a crowd of passers-by would immediately drown him. Apart from the statue in front of them, there were many other statues on the side. But the other statues were all tall and mighty. They looked very handsome. They weren't on the same level at all. "Could this be your benefactor?" Yi Tianyun compared. He could only think that this ordinary-looking statue was their benefactor. After all, he could still find some similarities with the other statues, but he really couldn't find any similarities with this one. "Yes, he is our benefactor. An incomparably powerful being. His cultivation has reached the level of a legendary being. Back then, he saved us from disaster. If it weren't for him, our five-colored divine clan would have been annihilated." Patriarch Ji's expression was full of respect. The others who came in with him all had the same expression. They were taught since young that this person was their benefactor. They must hold the highest respect. Other than the appearance, Yi Tianyun couldn't find any other aura. This was actually a statue that was built according to the appearance. It didn't carry any energy. Unlike the other statues, which had the energy of their previous life, the effect was completely different. "I see." Yi Tianyun nodded. He didn't say much. He just remembered this appearance. Then, Patriarch G brought him to the innermost area. After passing through layers of seals, they finally arrived in front of the teleportation array. This is the teleportation array to go out. If you want to come back, you'll have to come in from here. Patriarch G said with a smile. Okay, I'll go first. Yi Tianyun smiled and walked toward the teleportation array, and soon disappeared in the teleportation array. Okay, we should continue to prepare. We don't know when the next battle will start. Patriarch G turned around and walked outside. He looked at Cai Shui and Cai Yun and said, "You two sisters, come here. I have something to say to you." "Yes, Patriarch." The two sisters carefully followed. When the other disciples saw this, they knew that the two sisters would definitely be taken care of. They were very envious. The five-colored divine clan didn't have many clansmen. However, there were at least a few thousand of them. Only a small portion of them were trained. Chapter 1973. After coming out, Yi Tianyun found himself in a remote corner. There was basically nothing around, just an open space. After memorizing this area, he immediately flew in the direction of the celestial terminus ancestral land. In the outside world, the celestial terminus ancestral land had been completely taken over. Those who disobeyed orders were all killed. Those who chose to surrender would be branded as slaves once again. This would not change. For the Jade God ancestral land, being branded as slaves was a must. They did not expect to be able to raise these cultivators well. Instead, they treated them like animals to be reared in captivity and ordered around at will. After being branded as slaves, they did not need to worry about rebelling. They could only carry out any orders given. Even if they were ordered to die, they would immediately do it. This was what they needed. If they wanted to live, they must be branded as slaves. If they didn't bear the mark of a slave, then only death awaited them. How they chose was up to them. As time passed, Yi Tianyun did not appear. Everyone thought that Yi Tianyun had died in the Five Elements Mountain or was trapped inside. In any case, the celestial terminus ancestral land had been taken over by the Jade God ancestral land. Even if he came back, he would still face the Jade God ancestral land. Some people were full of resentment towards Yi Tianyun, while others did not blame Yi Tianyun. After all, nothing had changed. After choosing to surrender, they still became slaves. It was no different than before. At least they still had freedom for a period of time, which was given by Yi Tianyun. However, most of them were full of resentment. They always thought that if Yi Tianyun did not cause trouble, how could the Jade God ancestral land retaliate? It was a good choice to dominate a region, but he just had to provoke the Jade God ancestral land. Wasn't he stupid? No one knew the truth, and those who knew had no chance to say it. This was the Jade God ancestral land's world. If they spread it, they would die. This group of people included Han Long, Qingxue, and the others. All of them had gathered together and formed a resistance alliance. However, this resistance alliance was not very strong. The strongest was only Grandmaster Xing. Grandmaster Xing was strong, but he was insignificant in the face of the Jade God ancestral land. In general, a group of powerful forces had gathered. The God Slayer team had been persecuted. After being saved by Yi Tianyun, they had been loyal to him. Therefore, after this incident, they naturally chose to follow Yi Tianyun. No matter what Yi Tianyun did, they would still choose to follow Yi Tianyun. Damn it, the Jade God ancestral land is getting more and more disgusting. They have a bad reputation. It was the Jade God ancestral land's doing, and now they're saying that they're taking revenge? How ridiculous. Those idiots that were originally rescued think they were harmed by the Lord. Truly disgusting. Qingxue burned with rage, and the nearby Han Long was extremely furious as well. What can be done? Our force is far weaker than the Jade God ancestral land, which star venerable realm has you. Even if they have no reason to suppress us, no one will dare to resist. Deng Feng shook his head and smiled bitterly. They were also angry when they learned the truth. Let's stop talking about this. Let's carry out the plan. I plan to eliminate the force of the Jade God ancestral land in Yuming City first. Yuming City is a bit weaker, so we will eliminate them little by little. We will do as much as we can. When Taoist Tianyun comes back, we will at least be able to help eliminate some forces. The drug deity was very calm. He planned to eliminate the force of the Jade God ancestral land stationed in the celestial terminus ancestral land bit by bit. In their opinion, the celestial terminus ancestral land must be taken back. This was a good starting point, so they couldn't lose it. Especially their hometown, which was below the celestial terminus ancestral land, so they had to take it back. That's right. That's all we can do for now. Before the Lord comes back, we have to do something. Qing Shui and the others nodded. They didn't want to hide in the dark all the time. They had been making all kinds of plans. When Yi Tianyun came back, they could help eliminate some of the forces. At the same time, they believed that Yi Tianyun wasn't dead. At most, he was trapped in the celestial terminus ancestral land. Therefore, they had been waiting for Yi Tianyun to come back. When the time came, they believed that they could definitely take back the celestial terminus ancestral land. After making the plan, they immediately started to act. One by one, they went to Yuming City. Soon, a large group of people quickly killed their way to Yuming City. They quietly wiped out the forces of the Jade God ancestral land in Yuming City. Everything went according to plan. There were not many problems. They were not weak. As long as the forces they planted were not strong, it was not difficult to eliminate them. After eliminating Yuming City, they quickly went to the next city and eradicated them one by one. When they eradicated one of the cities, they thought it would be as smooth as before. Suddenly, a terrible force fell from the sky, making them tremble. They looked up at the sky in horror. Star venerate. They felt the power of a star venerate. Logically, it was impossible for a star venerate to appear. After all, the star venerates of the Jade God ancestral land were so powerful. Why would they lower themselves to eliminate them? At most, they would send a star master, not a star venerate. But now, they really felt the power of a star venerate. Did this mean that the Jade God ancestral land really sent the two legendary existences? A group of trash hiding in the dark. Do you think you can eliminate the forces of the Jade God ancestral land with your little power? Star Venerate Luo Ju looked at the people below coldly, full of disdain. But at least you succeeded in attracting me here. You should be honored to have me take action. It's not those two lords. This is the new Star Venerate of the Jade God ancestral land. Their hearts trembled. Star Venerate Luo Ju's cultivation was not very high. He had probably broken through to the Star Venerate level not long ago. Maybe he had broken through to the Star Venerate level long ago, but he had been at the early stage of the Star Venerate level. No matter what, this meant that the Jade God ancestral land had other Star Venerates. Even the weakest Star Venerate was still a Star Venerate. Let's go. Without saying another word, Han Long led his men and retreated outside. This time, they did not bring many people, but it was still a large force. Qing Shui was also among them. She had volunteered to fight. Since she had chosen to follow Yi Tianyun, she needed to prove herself. Now that they had encountered a Star Venerate, their faces turned pale and they immediately fled in all directions. They would not escape together. Instead, they chose to scatter in all directions. This way, even if they were caught, only a small portion of them would be caught. Do you think you can escape? Star Venerate Luo Ju smiled disdainfully. He waved his hand, and the surrounding flames flickered. Soon, a group of Star Masters emerged and sealed the area tightly. Chapter 1974. Han Long and the others had succeeded so many times, how could they not attract the attention of the ancestral land of the Jade God? In a fit of anger, they sent out Star Monarch Luo Ju, a new Star Monarch. If word got out, it would mean that the ancestral land of the Jade God still had 3 Star Monarchs. If the previous Star Monarch was not killed, then there would be 4 Star Monarchs. This number was terrifying. Perhaps only the ancestral land of the Jade God could cultivate so many Star Monarchs. It's over, we didn't even get a hint. Han Long and the others had been gathering information from all around, but they still didn't know that the ancestral land of the Jade God had sent people. Either there was a mole, or they were too secretive and surrounded them without anyone noticing. But overall, it should be the latter. They were sure that there was no mole here, so it could only mean that the ancestral land of the Jade God was very capable. They could easily deceive everyone, so they couldn't get any information. Surrounded by so many strong enemies, even if they were not weak, it would be difficult for them to escape. There were so many Star Masters here, at least a dozen of them, plus a Star Monarch. How could they escape? Especially since they had already prepared everything. If they could let Han Long and the others escape, then they were really useless. If I let you escape, then I'm really useless. Do you really think you arranged it well? Star Monarch Luo Ju sneered. There were too many loopholes. We quickly found those so-called spies. This place belongs to the ancestral land of the Jade God. They were startled. That was true. Everyone here was their slave. As long as they gave the order, they could quickly find the spies. They might not have done so at first, but after they were angered and gave the order, they quickly found the spies. Once the spies were found, Han Long and the others were blind. Without the spies, how could they get any information? We were indeed careless. Han Long and the others sighed. This time, they admitted that they had lost, and the price was death. Even so, before we die, we have to fight and kill as many as we can. Han Long turned to look at Qing Shui and sighed. I told you not to come. These things are very dangerous, you shouldn't have come. What's not dangerous? Qing Shui smiled faintly and said in a carefree manner, when I was following you, I wanted to offer myself to you at any time. All right. Han Long laughed out loud, my lord is indeed not mistaken. Then let's fight side by side and kill as many as we can. All right. After Qing Shui consumed the water spirit fruit, her cultivation took a huge leap and was about to break through to Great Master Xing. If she was given a bit more time, she would be able to break through to Great Master Xing without any pressure. However, in this place, her battle prowess was still very ordinary. The people surrounding them were all Grandmaster Xing. Just her cultivation of Star Master late stage was really not enough. The other companions who came with him also had the same mentality. If they were afraid of death, they would have surrendered a long time ago instead of continuing to be enemies with the ancestral land of Jade God. Jade God ancestral land is such a powerful force, it takes a lot of courage to go against them. But they had done it. Even if they had to die, they would go against the ancestral land of the Jade God. This was to live for one's dignity, not to linger on with one's last breath. A bunch of trash wants to go against our ancestral land of the Jade God. Kill them. Star Sovereign Luo Ju said coldly, what a waste of time. If I had known earlier, I would not have come here. It's such a waste of time to come here for a pile of trash. He did not plan to attack. Sending so many Grandmasters was enough to kill them. But when they were about to attack, a figure stood in the void. As he stood there, the air around him solidified. The Grandmasters who had rushed over were all turned into statues, unable to move in the air. So what if we go against your ancestral land of the Jade God? A bunch of disgusting people. Do you still think you are the rulers of this world? A familiar voice rang in Han Long's ears. They all looked up and saw Yi Tianyun's face. This face was too familiar, so familiar that they couldn't help but shed tears when they saw it. My lord is back, my lord is back. Qing Shui's eyes were red. She knew that Yi Tianyun would definitely come back. He did not die in there as the rumors said. My lord. Star Sovereign Luo Ju looked at Yi Tianyun, who suddenly appeared in the void. He was startled. He did not know when he had appeared. Then he saw Yi Tianyun stretch out his hand and flick his fingers. The surrounding Grandmasters all exploded and died. It was like fireworks blooming in the air. It was very beautiful. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 Grandmasters were easily killed as if they were drinking water. Star Sovereign Luo Ju was stunned. His heart sank. Even if it were him, he would not be able to do this. Doesn't this mean that Yi Tianyun's power is much stronger than him? Stop acting mysterious. Quickly come and die. Star Sovereign Luo Ju thought that he could defeat Yi Tianyun. He had just become a Star Venerate not long ago, so he was a little arrogant. As a Star Venerate, he stood above everyone. Who would dare to disobey him? A grade 5-star Dharma idol appeared behind star sovereign Luo Ju. No wonder he could become a star venerate with a grade 5-star Dharma idol. At the same time, star sovereign Luo Ju attracted astral energy from 3 directions. It was extremely dazzling in the dark night. The cultivators watching from afar were shocked by this scene. They felt that this was the power of a star venerate. Facing the erupting star sovereign Luo Ju, Yi Tianyun's expression was indifferent. He just stood in the void without moving. When star sovereign Luo Ju rushed over, he suddenly attacked. He raised his hand and flicked gently. An invisible force attacked star sovereign Luo Ju. Boom! An invisible force pierced through star monarch Luo Ju's barrier and struck his body, producing a dull thud. Following that, star sovereign Luo Ju grunted and flew back. Finally, he crashed into many houses. After piercing through several houses, he barely stopped. The seemingly tyrannical star sovereign Luo Ju could not compare to Yi Tianyun's flick. Isn't that a star venerate? How could he be defeated so easily? Heavens, could he be the heavenly cloud star grandmaster who fell out with the celestial pole ancestral land? But that's not right. His strength is definitely above the star venerate level. Are you stupid? His cultivation must have broken through to the star venerate level. I even heard news about him. I didn't expect him to really come out of the 5-element mountain. Does that mean we will soon be free? Chapter 1975. Yi Tianyun was like a god descending, easily sending Starlord Luo Ju flying. Not to mention the surrounding cultivators, even Han Long and the others were shocked. When they were with Yi Tianyun, they didn't have this kind of strength. Now, he could even easily defeat a Starlord. How did he cultivate? No matter how they cultivated, their hearts were filled with excitement, and their faces were flushed. The stronger Yi Tianyun was, the more excited they felt. They could not wait for Yi Tianyun to be invincible and crush everything. My lord is too powerful. He is much more powerful than before. Qing Shui's pretty face was red. When they parted, Yi Tianyun was still a star master. Now, he could even kill a Starlord. Such strength was simply shocking. Indeed, my lord is invincible. He cannot be understood with common sense. When they saw Yi Tianyun appear, they were worried that he would be easily injured if he fought with Starlord Luo Ju. Now, they did not need to worry about that. Yi Tianyun crushed him with one palm strike. Soon, Starlord Luo Ju flew out of a pile of rubble, his eyes bloodshot as he said, "I'm going to kill you." He had never suffered such a setback before. He was easily suppressed in front of everyone, completely humiliating him. In this rage, he continued to charge at Yi Tianyun, bringing out his combat prowess to the limit. However, no matter how much he brought out his full strength, it was still too weak for Yi Tianyun. The difference in cultivation meant that Starlord Luo Ju would be crushed. You can go down first. After a while, the rest of you will come down to accompany you. Yi Tianyun stretched out his hand and pressed forward. The Starlord Dharma body on Starlord Luo Ju's pouncing body exploded, and he was smashed into the ground. After a while, everything returned to silence. Starlord Luo Ju did not get up again. He was completely dead. Such a powerful Starlord died just like that. This overturned everyone's understanding. In their opinion, Starlords were invincible and undying. Now, Star Venerate had been killed just like that. It was like killing an ant. Yi Tianyun's figure flashed, and the 5-colored monarch dragon flew up into the sky. Then, it exploded in all directions, and silver light scattered everywhere. Soon, all the enslaved cultivators in the entire city had their slave imprints unsealed, allowing them to regain their freedom. The slave brand in my body has been removed. It's true, the slave brand has been removed. Thank you, my lord. Thank you, my lord. Bullshit. Isn't it normal to remove the slave imprint? If it wasn't for him, would the ancestral land of the Jade God come after us? You don't even know how to be grateful. From the very beginning, we were branded as slaves. He had the obligation to not help us remove the slave brand. Some people still hated Yi Tianyun, but they were quickly scolded by others. There were still people who had a heart that was moved, and they didn't just keep complaining. There was no freedom in the first place, so why should he care about the changes in the situation? Even if Yi Tianyun didn't save anyone, it wouldn't be a problem. The reason why the celestial terminus ancestral land implemented this slavery system is because of the ancestral land of the Jade God. Therefore, if we want to get rid of this slavery system, we must destroy the ancestral land of the Jade God. Please spread the truth, and at the same time, spread it for me. I, Star Venerate Heavenly Cloud, will personally go to the ancestral land of the Jade God in a few days. Yi Tianyun's voice spread everywhere, and each word penetrated deep into their hearts. Of course, Yi Tianyun knew that some people hated him, because he had been able to find out the relevant information along the way. It was normal to have this kind of thinking. There were many selfish cultivators, and each of them had a strong mouth, but their strength was too weak. However, he didn't care about this. After everything was over, some people had to be eliminated, and no one would be left. He was also a vengeful person, and anyone who said something bad about him would be blacklisted. There was no need for him to investigate this, because someone would deal with it when the time came. After the news spread out, everyone was stunned. After they reacted, they burst out in disbelief. What? The ancestral land of the Jade God is the mastermind? This is unbelievable. If the ancestral land of the Jade God is the mastermind, then it's normal for Star Venerate Heavenly Cloud to provoke the ancestral land of the Jade God. For every debt, there is a debtor. He must have gone to the ancestral land of the Jade God to cause trouble. If that's the case, aren't we wrong about Star Venerate Heavenly Cloud? He isn't being arrogant and provoking the ancestral land of the Jade God, but he wants to completely liberate the celestial terminus ancestral land. This is unbelievable. He wants to cause trouble for the ancestral land of the Jade God himself? Is this really possible? The ancestral land of the Jade God has many star venerates. One by one, the cultivators panicked. Some of them felt guilty and ashamed, while others were extremely terrified. If the ancestral land of the Jade God was behind this, then the result would be the same if they couldn't deal with the ancestral land of the Jade God. The ancestral land of the Jade God's power was too deep. Even though Yi Tianyun's performance was shocking, they still felt that they couldn't defeat him. No matter what, Yi Tianyun's words had reached them, and they believed Yi Tianyun's words. A star venerate wasn't likely to lie, so they believed him. After a little speculation, they realized that Yi Tianyun's words were trustworthy. Yi Tianyun didn't care about what they thought. He landed next to Han Long and the others and said indifferently, "You are too anxious. This is the ancestral land of the Jade God's territory. If you are careless, you will lose everything. My lord, this is our mistake. Please punish us." They knelt down one by one, feeling touched. If Yi Tianyun can come back, not to mention punishing them, even if he asked them to die, they would accept it. They knew that once Yi Tianyun came back, they would kill their way over and suppress the ancestral land of the Jade God. Even if it meant death, they would be willing. "I will definitely punish you. Now, I order you to come with me and destroy all the forces that the Jade God's ancestral land has stationed here." Yi Tianyun's eyes were filled with anger. After he came back and learned about everything, he was furious. Naturally, he wanted to eradicate the Jade God's ancestral land as soon as possible. Inverting black and white, what a joke. "Yes, my lord." They stood up excitedly and shouted, "We will follow my lord and kill our way to the ancestral land of the Jade God. We will not rest until one of us is dead." Yi Tianyun nodded with satisfaction. He turned to the front and said, "Then we will start from the next city and take back the celestial terminus ancestral land." Chapter 1976. Yi Tianyun's message quickly spread in all directions. The news that he could come out of the five-element mountain was enough to shock everyone. The reason why the celestial terminus ancestral land was controlled was because of the Jade God ancestral land. This matter undoubtedly caused an uproar in the celestial terminus ancestral land. Most people thought that Yi Tianyun was too arrogant and had provoked the Jade God ancestral land. If Yi Tianyun had not provoked the Jade God ancestral land, this situation would not have happened. Now, they were slapped in the face by the reality. Everything was caused by the Jade God ancestral land. This was an extremely disgusting and frightening matter. They did not expect that the mastermind behind this was the Jade God ancestral land, a terrifying existence. However, most people were full of guilt towards Yi Tianyun. They blamed the wrong person. In fact, Yi Tianyun was fighting for their freedom. However, the Jade God ancestral land's constant propaganda had tarnished Yi Tianyun's reputation. On one hand, they wanted Yi Tianyun to help them deal with the Jade God ancestral land. On the other hand, they thought that it was impossible. The power of the Jade God ancestral land was not only deeply rooted in people's hearts. More importantly, Yi Tianyun was not strong enough. The information they knew was still at a relatively early stage. No one knew that he had killed so many Star Lords inside, let alone those Saint Kings of the Green Demon clan. His current strength might not be the best, but at least he would not be so powerless against the Jade God ancestral land. However, no one knew about his situation. They all thought that even if Yi Tianyun came out, it would be meaningless. Would he really kill his way to the Jade God ancestral land? Even though Yi Tianyun said that he would go to the Jade God ancestral land in a few days, most people still thought that Yi Tianyun was hitting a stone with an egg. They thought that he was angry. His force had been destroyed, so he naturally wanted to vent his anger. However, venting depended on the target. The other party was the Jade God ancestral land. How could they take revenge? He was afraid that by the time he reached there, he would be killed very quickly. No matter what the result was, at least the Empyrean Terminus ancestral land's anger had been fully directed at the Jade God ancestral land, and it wasn't Yi Tianyun who had overestimated himself and provoked the Jade God ancestral land. Some outside forces knew that the Jade God ancestral land was behind this, but they didn't dare to say anything. In the end, he still obediently stayed at the side and kept his mouth shut, not daring to voice any opinion. Those who had objections all died in the end. Ancestral land of Jade God. Interesting. He actually escaped from the Five Elements mountain. Although I don't know how he escaped, this is going to be interesting. Emerald Flame Star Sovereign still had an indifferent expression. Even when Goldwind Star Sovereign died, he did not show any signs of sadness. It was as if the deceased was just a passerby. If he dares to come, I will let him know the meaning of despair. Emerald Flame Star Sovereign revealed an evil smile, as if he had already foreseen Yi Tianyun's expression of despair. In another divine palace, there was another Star Sovereign. When he knew that Yi Tianyun was going to kill him personally, he sneered disdainfully. You think you are invincible after killing Goldwind? You overestimate yourself. Goldwind is really stupid. He can't even kill an ant. It's better for him to die early. This mysterious Star Sovereign closed his eyes and continued to cultivate. He did not get angry because of this. Neither of them was as hot-tempered as Goldwind Star Sovereign. They were very calm. As long as someone did not come to kill them, they would not bother to do anything. Unless it was extremely chaotic, they wouldn't make a move. The two Star Sovereigns were not angry, but the people inside the Jade God ancestral land were furious. They wanted to cut Yi Tianyun into 1,000 pieces. This was undoubtedly a provocation to the Jade God ancestral land. However, they did not receive any order to take action this time. They were told to stay put and wait for Yi Tianyun to come. Since someone wanted to challenge the dignity of the Jade God ancestral land, they would give him the chance to challenge them. At that time, they would use the strongest pressure to suppress Yi Tianyun. It was the same as killing the chicken to warn the monkey. They would let them know the inviolable dignity of the Jade God ancestral land. This matter caused a great uproar in the entire region. Everyone talked about it during their leisure time. They all thought that Yi Tianyun was overestimating himself and would definitely lose. However, no matter how he lost, they all wanted to see the real situation. The situation began to change. Finally, there was a slight change, and a troublemaker appeared. A long time ago, there were existences that challenged the Jade God ancestral land, including many Star Sovereigns. The ancestral land of the Jade God was still standing, and the challengers were long dead. Since the Jade God ancestral land did not intend to take action, it was very easy for Yi Tianyun to deal with things. Soon, all of the Jade God ancestral land's forces in the Celestial Terminus ancestral land were destroyed. Not all of them, but at least most of them had been freed. It's about time. I'll leave the rest to you. Yi Tianyun looked at Han Long and the others. My lord, are you going to challenge the Jade God ancestral land? Han Long and the others immediately sensed something strange. Yes, there are no more problems here for now. It's time to take care of business, Yi Tianyun said indifferently. My lord, this. Han Long and the others, including Deng Feng and the others, stepped forward. Some things were difficult to say. Are you all trying to persuade me? Yi Tianyun said indifferently. Yes, your strength is amazing. If you cultivate for a while longer, the chance, no need to say more. I said in a few days, and I meant it. I won't give the Jade God ancestral land any extra time. It's time to end the Jade God ancestral land. If Yi Tianyun's words were heard by the outside world, they would be laughed at. It was as if he was saying that the Jade God ancestral land would be destroyed. He didn't want it to live for a few more days. In that case, we are willing to follow my lord. Yes, we will follow my lord to the Jade God ancestral land. Seeing that persuasion was useless, they had no choice but to follow Yi Tianyun to the Jade God ancestral land. There's no need. I've already said that I'll kill my way to the ancestral land of the Jade God alone. I'm not being arrogant. I just want to prove to the world that the Jade God ancestral land is not invincible and unbreakable. When Yi Tianyun said this, he was so confident. Those who knew him would respect him, while those who didn't would think that he was an idiot who overestimated himself. With that, Yi Tianyun flew towards the Jade God ancestral land alone, leaving the others looking at each other in dismay. Chapter 1977. The news of Yi Tianyun's action shocked many people again. Many people thought that Yi Tianyun was just saying it. They didn't expect him to really go to Jade God ancestral land. To be honest, even if he didn't go, they wouldn't feel ashamed. Retreating at the last moment was actually a very wise choice. After all, he was facing Jade God ancestral land, not a small faction. They wouldn't look down on him for being arrogant at first and then being obedient later on. Many people were willing to be their grandsons. After learning that the other side was from the Jade God ancestral land, they obediently chose to be their grandsons. Therefore, there was nothing to look down on. It was the right choice. But Yi Tianyun still went to Jade God ancestral land without hesitation. Many people went to watch. They wanted to see how Yi Tianyun would die. Wasn't it a joke to challenge the ancestral land of the Jade God? At the same time, Fairy Fan Yu was shocked when she received the news. What? He's really going to Jade God ancestral land? Fairy Fan Yu panicked and said to her senior sister, we're done for. We have to stop that fool. Junior sister, we won't get involved in this. Even if we don't get along with Jade God ancestral land, we still can't act recklessly. Even if you owe him a favor, we still can't act recklessly. After all, it'll be a war between the two sides. We're not ready yet. Fairy Fan Yu didn't have any feelings for Yi Tianyun. Even if he saved her junior sister, he couldn't act recklessly. She did owe him a favor and treated him with all kinds of hospitality when he came here. But if Yi Tianyun wanted to die, there was nothing she could do. It wasn't that she was heartless, but she had to think of the bigger picture. Then I'll go and stop him myself. That should be enough, right? Fairy Fan Yu stomped her feet and flew to Jade God ancestral land. She wanted to stop Yi Tianyun from doing something stupid. Even if he killed Metal Wind Star Lord, he couldn't go to Jade God ancestral land. Junior sister. The fairy became anxious and quickly chased after her. You are a goddess, your status is different now. If you appear, it will cause chaos. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to become a goddess. I would have died in there long ago. Fairy Fan Yu said, senior sister, don't stop me. If I can't even do this, then I'm not qualified to be a goddess. With that, she left her senior sister behind and flew forward to look for Yi Tianyun alone. The fairy was so angry that she stomped her feet and turned around to fly back. Hurry up and inform the elders. This is going to be troublesome. On the other hand, the Danqing family was amused. They hadn't expected Yi Tianyun to personally go to the Jade God ancestral grounds. It's lucky that we didn't make friends with him. Otherwise, we would have been implicated by Qing Shui. Yeah, now he's dead for sure, and so is Qing Shui. However, we still need to prepare to offer that treasure to the ancestral land of the Jade God. Is this necessary? That's quite rare. What can we do? Who knows what the Jade God ancestral land will think? Once this is over, we'll offer it. Our family doesn't want to be finished yet. The Danqing family hurried to prepare. Although they had already announced that they had severed ties with Qing Shui, they didn't know what the Jade God ancestral land was thinking. If they didn't offer something, they wouldn't be able to eat or sleep in peace. All the families that were unhappy with Yi Tianyun felt very refreshed after hearing Yi Tianyun's words. They could foresee Yi Tianyun's death, so they wanted to vent their dissatisfaction. But they couldn't do anything. They could only go to the Jade God ancestral land to watch this shocking battle. While the outside world was changing, Yi Tianyun was rushing to the Jade God ancestral land. After destroying the Jade God ancestral land, everything would come to a perfect end. At the very least, he could make his own force his own and no longer be controlled by others. Finally, after a period of flying, the territory of the ancestral land of the Jade God gradually appeared in front of him. The huge divine palaces formed a huge square formation. Everything seemed so coordinated and perfect. None of the divine palaces were built randomly. Be it the height or the size, they were all designed. After a series of designs and arrangements, they formed a shocking array. This formation was one of the defensive features of the Jade God ancestral land. It could block many powerful attacks. At least for now, no one could break through this defense. Just this defensive formation alone was enough to stop the enemies outside. As expected of the Jade God ancestral land. Just this formation alone is extraordinary. Yi Tianyun looked over and used the appraisal eye to analyze the situation. He immediately sent the corresponding information. He had to admit that this formation was very sturdy. Ordinary star venerables would have a hard time breaking it. When he was about to get close, a familiar figure stopped him. It was Fairy Fan Yu. Don't be rash. Fairy Fan Yu stopped him and said in a hurry, the Jade God ancestral land's foundation is very strong. If possible, you can work together with our force. With our force, we will have a higher chance of winning. Oh, that's not a bad idea. But when will this plan be implemented? Yi Tianyun looked at her indifferently. I'm not sure. Fairy Fan Yu was very embarrassed. She did not know the exact time. After all, this was just a preliminary idea. She did not know the actual time. Looks like this is not something you can control. Yi Tianyun smiled. Thank you for your kindness, but there is no need for this. I don't need to wait, nor do I need any force to work with me. I alone am enough. Plus, I can eliminate them in a while. There is no need to wait. Even though Fairy Fan Yu knew that Yi Tianyun was strong, she was still scared after hearing this. Go back. If you stay here, you will be seen by the Jade God ancestral land. It will be hard for you to explain yourself when you go back. Yi Tianyun smiled. I'm not going back. Fairy Fan Yu said in a deep voice, I'm here not only to dissuade you, but also to stop you. If I can't stop you, I will go with you to eliminate the Jade God ancestral land. I am also very angry about this Jade God ancestral land. I have wanted to eliminate it for a long time. It seems that you are very determined. Yi Tianyun said as he rubbed Yi Tianyun's head. Little girl, you can stay here and watch me destroy this arrogant Jade God ancestral land. Yi Tianyun said as he rubbed Yi Tianyun's head. Chapter 1978. When Yi Tianyun arrived in front of the ancestral land of the Jade God, there were already many attendants and disciples waiting inside. They looked at Yi Tianyun mockingly, thinking that he had overestimated himself and really came to the ancestral land of the Jade God. They weren't the only ones. There were also elders, clan leaders, and star venerables of other factions watching from the side. When they saw Yi Tianyun appear, they were shocked by his courage. Although they felt that Yi Tianyun had overestimated himself, they still admired Yi Tianyun's courage for coming here. Of course, there were more mocking voices, thinking that Yi Tianyun was an idiot. What an idiot. He really came here. I wonder how long he can last under the suppression of the ancestral land of the Jade God. How long can he last? Just this square formation alone is enough to destroy him. Not to mention flattening the ancestral land of the Jade God, I'm afraid he can't even break the gate. That's right. There was a star venerate who came to take revenge. Who knew that he couldn't even enter the gate and was killed by the defense. They couldn't help but shake their heads and laugh. They were even more shocked when they talked about the past. The ancestral land of the Jade God was really powerful. Star venerates were just trash in front of it. While they were discussing, a warning voice came from inside the ancestral land of the Jade God to the approaching Yi Tianyun. I didn't expect you to still dare to come here. It seems that you are quite bold. The one who spoke was a Grandmaster Xing, not a star venerate. However, his expression was even more arrogant than a star venerate. He looked at Yi Tianyun with disdain. Even though his cultivation was not as high as Yi Tianyun's, he still looked high and mighty. He looked down on the experts of any faction from the bottom of his heart. In his opinion, only the experts of the ancestral land of the Jade God were worthy of being called expert. Why don't you dare to come here? Do you think that you can stop me with this broken formation? Yi Tianyun looked down at them from the sky and swept his gaze across the surroundings. There wasn't a single star sovereign overseeing this place. Just the star masters like them were enough to guard this place. That was enough to show how confident the Jade God ancestral land was in its defense. Just by relying on this formation, everything could be guarded. Haha, looks like you dare to oppose our ancestral land of Jade divinity because you don't know the details. You don't even know the situation of our ancestral land of Jade divinity, yet you still dare to come here. How foolish. The leader, Grandmaster Xing, was Deacon Lu Tian. His position here was rather high, and in the absence of other elders present, he was in charge. None of the elders present came out. The elders were all half-step star venerates. Although they had not broken through to star venerate, they were much stronger than these administrators. Of course, there were also elders who broke through to star venerate. They just did not announce it to the outside world. For example, star venerate Luo Ju, whom Yi Tianyun killed, was one of the elders who broke through. However, he had just broken through to star venerate and was too arrogant, so he was easily crushed. From this, it could be seen that the elders were completely confident in the effect of this formation. They did not even need to take action to kill Yi Tianyun. Why do I need to know the situation of a force that will disappear soon? Yi Tianyun looked at them and said calmly, you will soon disappear from everyone's memory along with the flow of history. No force could be remembered forever. As time went by, people would quickly forget about it. Unless they were still alive, they would soon disappear from everyone's memory. How dare you? Deacon Lu Tian flew into a rage. He pointed at Yi Tianyun and said angrily, do you think you are a star venerable? It seems like our ancestral land of Jade divinity has not been mobilized for a long time, so someone dares to provoke us. This time, we will let the world know that our ancestral land of Jade divinity is invincible. Jade divinity square formation, activate. Buzz. A light burst out. All of the divine palaces gave off a dazzling light. They turned into a giant light formation that soared into the sky and formed a giant phantom in the void. This phantom looked extremely majestic. More importantly, it had the energy of a star venerable, which meant this square formation had been strengthened by a star venerable. No wonder they were so confident. A square formation strengthened by a star venerable? Interesting. Looking at the phantom in the sky, Yi Tianyun said with a smile, a phantom is just a phantom. If it were a real star venerable, I would be a bit afraid of it. Unfortunately, it's just a phantom. It's just a square formation strengthened by a star venerable. How powerful could it be after such a long time? You have been living on your laurels. That's all you can do. You won't be able to say anything later. This square formation strengthened by our Jade divinity star venerable is not something you can slander. Deacon Lu Tian said angrily, Great Jade divinity star venerable, kill this disrespectful guy. Right after Deacon Lu Tian spoke, the giant phantom brandished a stele of light and pressed down from the sky. The stele of light contained a strong star venerable energy and enveloped Yi Tianyun. The giant stele of light instantly sealed off all paths of retreat. At the same time, it attacked from all directions, trying to flatten Yi Tianyun. Oh, it even sealed off all directions. It surrounded the intruder and even flattened him. This power is really enough to suppress an ordinary star venerable easily. Yi Tianyun evaluated its might. It was like a strong attack from a middle-stage star venerable. At the same time, it also contained a star venerable's might, which was very difficult to block. Soon, the 6 steles of light enveloped the area and sealed off all directions. No one outside could see Yi Tianyun's figure anymore. What a strong formation's power! Is this the power of a star venerable? Even though I'm so far away, my legs feel like jelly. If I were any closer, my body would probably explode from the pressure. That's for sure. That is the power of a star venerable. Look, my legs are shaking. If I were not stubbornly holding on, I would have knelt down. This time, he is dead for sure. It ended just as it started. This is really boring. Even if it's boring, there's nothing we can do about it. This is the power of a star venerable, after all. When the group of cultivators saw this scene, they all sighed. They felt that coming here was worth it. When Han Long and the others rushed over and saw this scene, their hearts leaped into their throats. However, they could not even get close, not to mention help Yi Tianyun. Fairy Fan Yu's mouth had not closed since Yi Tianyun left. She really wanted to stop Yi Tianyun or fight alongside Yi Tianyun. However, when she wanted to follow him, she discovered that she could not move. Her legs seemed to be fixed to the ground. Fairy Fan Yu thought to herself, Yi Tianyun can win. Don't come over. Chapter 1979. All paths of retreat had been sealed, causing everyone outside to be dumbfounded. Most of them had never seen such terrifying power before. Moreover, they had never seen a great formation strengthened by the Star Venerable's power. It was absolutely a first-class great formation. In their eyes, Yi Tianyun would definitely die. Who could resist such a great formation strengthened by the Star Venerable's blood? Seeing Yi Tianyun being swallowed up, people shook their heads. They thought it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous that Yi Tianyun had overestimated himself. He had chosen to fight against the ancestral land of the Jade God. If it had been other practitioners, they would have retreated a long time ago. They would have begged the ancestral land of the Jade God to forgive them even if they had to sacrifice everything they had. Is it going to end so soon? He didn't even struggle. Is Star Lord Tianyun a fake? He was bragged about before. I thought he could really contend against the ancestral land of the Jade God. Do you even believe the rumors? I told you he was a star venerable. Do you believe me? Exactly. We can see his real face now. The so-called Star Lord Tianyun is just a half-baked guy. When they saw Yi Tianyun being swallowed up by the light wall without struggling, they realized there was nothing to see. Everything would be reduced to nothingness when the wall of light exploded. Boom. Then the light wall came over. In the end, a dreadful explosion was set off. The area within the range of the light wall was destroyed. A small amount of energy was emitted from it. The practitioners in the distance were forced to step back. Some of the more serious ones even spat up blood and got seriously injured. Those who were seriously injured were too bold. They wanted to get closer to observe. The result was obvious. They were blown away by the dreadful explosion and got seriously injured. That was the price they had to pay. Seeing this scene, Qingshue's pretty face turned pale. She wondered if Yi Tianyun was really going to be killed. Han Long and the others trembled. They were all shocked by this scene. They had never seen such a domineering power. Do you see that? That's the consequence of going against the Jade God ancestral land. The elders of the Qingdan clan paled upon seeing this. Their disciples nodded their heads repeatedly. No wonder the elders would offer their precious treasures. If this technique were to explode in their hands, then their clans would really be gone. At the same time, they were glad that the elders had made the right decision. The sooner they drove Qing Shui out, the better. That would be a form of protection for the family. A mere ant dares to act presumptuously in the Jade God ancestral land. Lu Tian sneered. He had seen many disrespectful people like this, and they were all easily killed without the slightest hesitation. Just when they thought that everything was over, A figure swayed inside and soon appeared in their line of sight. So this is the move of your ancestral land of jade divinity. It's really ordinary. Yi Tianyun calmly walked into everyone's line of sight. Lu Tian's smile suddenly froze. He looked at Yi Tianyun in disbelief, wondering if he was seeing things. How could he not be dead? Even a middle-stage Star Lord should have been killed. Lu Tian's eyes widened, full of shock. Not to mention him, even the others were staring at this scene with wide eyes. Every time this star venerate formation was activated, someone would die. No one could resist this technique. Once it was released, it would definitely defeat the invaders. Now, the effect was gone. It didn't defeat the invaders as expected, at least not for Yi Tianyun. He was unscathed, proving to the world that the Jade God ancestral land was not as invincible as the rumors said. This was what Yi Tianyun had done deliberately. He wanted to prove to the cultivators that he was not invincible, and he wanted them to know about him. When the ancestral land of the Jade God suffered a heavy defeat, he even spread his name. His Excellency is invincible. His Excellency is invincible. Han Long and the others cheered. When they saw that Yi Tianyun was unscathed, they were very excited. They knew that Yi Tianyun would not lose so quickly. Far away, Fairy Fan Yu's eyes turned red. As long as Yi Tianyun was fine, it was fine. First Elder, this heavenly cloud star lord is too strong. Did we choose the wrong side? The disciples of the Qingdan family started to panic, wondering if they had gambled on the wrong treasure. The elders of the Qingdan family were all dumbfounded, but they did not panic. This brat is quite tough, but what's the point? This formation is just one of the most basic moves of the Jade God ancestral land. It's not a big deal to be able to resist it. Don't forget that the Lord of the Jade God ancestral land did not make a move. This is nothing. The elders of the Qingdan family shook their heads. All of you, calm down. Don't think too much. The Jade God ancestral land is invincible and irresistible. Just know this. The elders of the Qingdan family looked at Yi Tianyun with disdain. They still did not believe that Yi Tianyun could trample the Jade God ancestral land by himself. It was a fantasy. Yi Tianyun did not care what they thought. He walked forward step by step and soon arrived in front of the divine palaces. He looked down at them and said, "You have been hiding in your turtle shell all this time. Do you think I can't break it?" Immediately, Yi Tianyun stomped heavily on the ground, and a violent 5-color Emperor Dragon Phantom appeared behind him, and a huge dragon claw appeared as it pressed down fiercely. Boom! The gigantic dragon claw pressed down and bombarded the thick protective shield, causing a huge wave to surge. Dong! The huge barrier fluctuated. The divine palaces buzzed and emitted all kinds of lights. This meant that they were releasing energy to resist Yi Tianyun's attack. Under such a powerful attack, the barrier merely shook a little, but there was not the slightest crack. Sure enough, this barrier could not be destroyed so easily. If it could be destroyed so easily, it would not be the Jade God ancestral land anymore. If the first stomp didn't work, then the second one. Yi Tianyun stomped on the barrier again. The explosive power exploded on the barrier again. Layer after layer of the barrier fluctuated, but there was still no sign of it breaking. Haha, you want to break our barrier with your strength. Even if you break your foot, you won't be able to break our defense, idiot. Although Lu Tian was frightened, he was still full of confidence. The Jade God ancestral land was famous not because of this formation, but because of its comprehensive strength. Chapter 1980. You arrogant guy. You think you can break our defense just because you broke our attack? Ridiculous. Just wait and see how we'll deal with you. Hearing Yi Tianyun's words getting more and more outrageous, Deacon Lu Tian started to get angry. If his cultivation had been higher, he would have rushed over to fight with Yi Tianyun. Now they still had other moves, which were to keep accumulating power so that they could exert the Star Venerable Great Array again. However, they hadn't finished accumulating power yet, so they couldn't attack Yi Tianyun. Don't wait. I'll go in now and let you deal with it. Yi Tianyun stomped on the shield again, and with a loud bang, the shield caved in. This time the force was much stronger than before. The terrifying force caused the barrier to cave in, scaring them all. Deacon Lu Tian took a closer look and found that the shield was not damaged. He started to laugh. I said it's useless. No matter what move you use, it won't work. They started to laugh, thinking that Yi Tianyun was doing something useless. Again, the 5-color Emperor Dragon Phantom behind Yi Tianyun became more solid. Star power appeared in the sky. Soon, he had condensed star power from 5 directions. He didn't break out the strongest power at once, but only a part of it. Under the heavy pressure and the horrible power, the shield caved in again. With a bang, the shield caved in again. Everyone was so scared that their faces turned pale. Especially when they felt that the shield was almost on their heads. However, when they saw the shield rise slowly and didn't see any cracks, they smiled mockingly. I thought it would be powerful, but it still can't be broken. With this kind of power, even if he attacked us 10 times, he wouldn't be able to break our shield. Deacon Lu Tian was still laughing. He felt a little relieved, thinking that Yi Tianyun wouldn't be able to break it. The elders of the Qingdan family shook their heads, their faces full of mockery. See, this is the power of the ancestral land of the Jade God. Attacks won't be effective, but this shield is enough to block all attacks. The elders gave Jiang Shan pointers from the side. Let's charge up again and unleash that formation attack again. We'll definitely be able to kill this evil beast. All the disciples nodded. They completely believed in their elders' words. Especially after Yi Tianyun's continuous attacks didn't have any effect, he felt that it was impossible to break the energy shield. But before he could finish his sentence, a terrifying force came crashing down again. Dong dong dong. Boom. With a loud bang, several divine palaces on the side were crushed. The terrifying power passed through the protective shield and directly pressed down on the towering divine palace, causing it to explode. This time, everyone was really shocked. Didn't they say that it couldn't be destroyed? How could it be destroyed now? This gave them a great fright, simply scared out of their wits, feeling that this was inconceivable. What's going on? Deacon Lu Tian's heart almost stopped. In their hearts, they thought that the ancestral land of the Jade God could not be broken through, but now, the divine palaces were destroyed. Although there were only a few, at least Yi Tianyun's power was really heaven-defying. Good, good, the shield hasn't been broken yet. Deacon Lu Tian breathed a sigh of relief. It didn't matter if the divine palaces were damaged, there were so many divine palaces here, a little damage was not a big deal. But before he could think further, another violent stomp came down, and the astral power above Yi Tianyun increased again. Dong. The heavy force came crashing down again, and a large part of the divine palace was crushed again, and a few cracks began to appear on the shield. This meant that the seemingly indestructible shield finally began to crack. If this continued, the shield would definitely be shattered. Dong dong dong. The power came crashing down again, and before they could react, more cracks appeared on the shield, and it was about to be completely shattered. Quickly, open the formation, Deacon Lu Tian screamed, and his voice changed from a strong male voice to a female voice. He was so scared that his voice changed. By the time the other disciples hurried to open the formation to the maximum effect, it was already too late. Under the crazy pressure of Yi Tianyun, who only relied on the astral power of the 7 directions, the formation's shattering became more and more serious. In particular, more and more divine palaces were affected. These divine palaces originally served as the supporting points of the formation, but as the damage increased, the supporting points became fewer and fewer. As a result, the situation of the formation became very weak. Combined with Yi Tianyun's strongest power, it was naturally impossible to resist. Boom! Accompanied by a loud bang, the shield completely collapsed, turning into countless fragments and disappeared. At the same time, many divine palaces, along with the destruction of the shield, caused a large part of the divine palaces to collapse. The originally neat and tidy divine palace had now turned into a large piece of ruins. This scene fell into the eyes of the onlookers, and they were completely dumbfounded. Previously, they thought that it was impossible to be damaged and impossible to destroy, but now, the godlike formation of the ancestral land of the Jade God was broken just like that. Over the years, basically no one could destroy it. No matter how many star venerates or how many experts came, They could not destroy it. But now it's destroyed by Yi Tianyun alone. It's really incredible. Destroy. Yi Tianyun once again stomped heavily on the ground, crushing Deacon Lu Tian and the others without any hesitation. He killed as he pleased, regardless of what faction they were from. Moreover, he said he would destroy the ancestral land of the Jade God, so he did it. As he stomped madly, the divine palaces were crushed one after another, sweeping away everything in his way. Such ruthlessness made the onlookers feel a chill in their hearts. The shield of the ancestral land of the Jade God is destroyed. They were all stunned. A shield that could not be destroyed was destroyed just like that. That was a godlike existence, which was equivalent to imprinting in their memories, and they thought that the shield of the ancestral land of the Jade God could not be destroyed. Now that it was destroyed, how could they not be dumbfounded? The elders of the Qingdan family were also so shocked that they could not close their mouths. They had just said that it could not be destroyed, and now, they were slapped in the face. Elder, the shield is broken. So what if it's broken? There are still Lord Star venerates inside. They haven't appeared yet. This shield has been maintained for so long and has been attacked so many times. It's possible that it will be broken. The elders still gritted their teeth. No matter what, they did not think that Yi Tianyun could win. After all, this was just the beginning. How could he lose? Chapter 1981. After the shield was broken, Yi Tianyun started to destroy the divine palaces like a hot knife through butter. He would not let go of any cultivator from the ancestors' land of the Jade God. They were all scared by his ferocity. Not until then did they recall what Yi Tianyun had said, which was that he would destroy the ancestors' land of the Jade God. It seemed he would destroy the ancestors' land of the Jade God for real. He was not joking. Is he really going to destroy the ancestors' land of the Jade God? The ancestors' land of the Jade God is not big, but it is not small. Right. There are so many disciples and strong cultivators. Can he really kill his way in? I'm afraid he will anger the Lord of the ancestors' land of the Jade God. He is arrogant now, but he won't be able to be arrogant later. When the shield is broken, other elders will come to fight him. How can he be arrogant then? They were all sneering. They found it ridiculous that Yi Tianyun was destroying everything in his way. He could be arrogant for a moment, but he would be doomed later. If he attracted the anger of the ancestors' land of the Jade God, not to mention one Yi Tianyun, even two Yi Tianyun would be doomed. Yi Tianyun did not care about what they thought, but he acted according to his plan. He would destroy everything in his way, and he would destroy everything in his way. He never talked nonsense. Therefore, as he pushed his way through, his ferocity shocked everyone. The disciples in the divine palace did not even have the time to react before they were flattened. No matter how strong they were, no matter whether they were men or women, he would destroy everything in his way. Those who could run away would run away. Those who could not run away would be buried here. Once Yi Tianyun became ruthless, he would be dreadful. No one could stop him. He was extremely angry because of what the ancestors' land of the Jade God had done to him. He would not be able to calm his anger without a bloodbath. How dare you intrude into our ancestors' land? Several angry shouts came from inside. Then two star lords flew up from behind. They released the star power of the 6 directions, and many formations lit up under their feet. A star venerable's power surged up from the soles of their feet and entered their bodies, increasing their power once again. With the help of the array, the stellar energy surged in all directions. Their cultivations were not low in the first place, middle-stage star venerates. With the astral energy from the surroundings, they could even exchange moves with late-stage star venerates. This was especially so when they wielded celestial domain-grade weapons. Together with their own strength, they could clash head-on with ordinary late-stage star venerates. This was the power of the Jade God's ancestral land. The great formation under their feet, which had been strengthened by the Star Venerable, could not only protect them, but also strengthen them. It seemed quite perfect. Under the lead of these 2 Star Venerate elders, there were hundreds of Grandmasters Xing behind them. They gathered and formed a large formation. Then, they turned into a giant and surrounded Xiao Chen. The auras they released were at least as strong as a Star Venerate. 2 Star Sovereigns. Heavens, aren't there too many star sovereigns in the Jade God ancestral land? Didn't you say there would only be 3 star venerates? Right now, they are not Lord Azure Fire Star Venerate but some elders, right? That's right. The ancestral land of the Jade God has hidden itself too well. They say there are only 3 star venerates, but now there are more than 5. The power of the ancestral land of the Jade God is really terrifying. This is the power of the ancestral land of the Jade God. Do you see it? The eyes of the elders of the Qingdan family flickered. They were excited, as if they were the people of the ancestral land of the Jade God. In fact, they just thought they were right. If they could rely on the ancestral land of the Jade God, they could do whatever they wanted. Many disciples nodded. Seeing these star sovereigns, they had to respect the ancestral land of the Jade God even more. This power was really unparalleled in the world. Facing this group of forces charging at him, Yi Tianyun didn't think too much. The 5-colored Emperor Dragon image behind him surged again. Immediately, the star power from all directions was drawn from the sky. The vast star power dimmed the surrounding star Dharma forms. This scene made the cultivators, who thought the ancestral land of the Jade God was invincible, pale. They had never felt the star power from all directions before. A bunch of trash. Let your leader come out. What's the point of hiding in there? Yi Tianyun roared and stepped forward. The huge 5-colored Emperor Dragon image pressed forward. The compressed power exploded in the air. The 2 star sovereigns and Grandmaster Xing's array were all blasted into nothingness. After the explosion, not only was a large area flattened, but the 2 star sovereigns were also blasted into nothingness. As for Grandmaster Xing, he was even more dead. All this happened in the blink of an eye. A large number of experts died like tofu, crushed with one step. The expressions of the group of cultivators froze. They thought that Yi Tianyun would definitely be besieged and killed. Now, it seemed that they were too naive. They had underestimated Yi Tianyun's strength. They all thought that the power Yi Tianyun used to destroy the barrier was already the strongest. Now, it seemed that was not the case. It was destroyed just like that. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. The elders of the Qingdan family opened their mouths wide. There were so many experts, but they could not withstand one move. Elders, this heavenly cloud star lord is so strong. Many disciples exclaimed. They were all frightened by Yi Tianyun's strength. They once again had the illusion that Yi Tianyun could really overthrow the ancestral land of the Jade God. In this case, they had bet on the wrong treasure. They had publicly broken off relations with Yi Tianyun and Qing Shui. Wasn't this equivalent to courting death? No, it can't be. This is just the beginning. Green Flame Star Lord and the others have not come out yet. The elders still refused to admit that they had failed until the very end. In their hearts, they were already full of fear for Yi Tianyun. That was a star sovereign, but he had been killed in one move. If they had not sensed their auras, they would have suspected that they were star apostles. How could they not be star apostles after being killed so weakly? Han Long's side cheered. He was shocked by Yi Tianyun's strength. Yi Tianyun, on the other hand, felt that it was very normal. In the 5-element mountain, he had killed many experts. Especially when he was fighting against the Green Demon clan, they did not know about Yi Tianyun's achievement. He had easily defeated so many late-stage star sovereigns, not to mention these people who were merely middle-stage star sovereigns. You are indeed worthy of being an opponent who could kill Metal Wind Star Lord. You are indeed qualified to make us attack. A figure appeared in the void, and the surrounding space distorted. Then, with a blazing sound, the surrounding divine palaces burned like a huge pillar of fire. Chapter 1982. The disciples of the Jade God ancestral land cheered when they saw the Emerald Flame Star Lord. They had been waiting for him for a long time. The appearance of the verdant Flame Star Lord was like a reassuring pill that calmed their panicked hearts. The Emerald Fire Star Sovereign was too strong. They didn't know how strong he was. In any case, he was an existence stronger than the Gold Wind Star Sovereign. Gold Wind Star Monarch was already very strong, but Emerald Flame Star Monarch was even stronger. The most important thing was that the verdant Flame Star Monarch controlled the flames of heaven and earth. He had the power to burn everything. As soon as he came out, the divine palaces around him were ignited and rapidly melted. Following that, the power of the melting bolstered his body. Rolling heat waves continuously spread in all directions. One could not see any flames with the naked eye, but one could feel the terrifying heat. If one's cultivation was slightly lower, they would probably be melted if they got a little closer. This was the strength of the azure fire star Venerate. He controlled the flames of the world and was a late-stage star Venerate. In addition, he knew alchemy, so it was not surprising that his overall strength was even stronger. After the Emerald Flame Star Sovereign appeared, he sized up Yi Tianyun. When he first received news that Yi Tianyun had defeated Gold Wind Star Lord, he did not believe it. After all, the Metal Wind Star Venerate was rather strong, not someone an ordinary star Venerate could defeat. From his point of view, there might have been some sort of help behind the scenes, or perhaps Yi Tianyun had used some sort of crafty plot to trick Goldwind Star Lord. Goldwind Star Monarch was very powerful, but it had to be said that he was rather straightforward and could be easily schemed against. Thus, even though Goldwind Star Monarch had died, he felt that it was a pity, but he was not too surprised. It was normal to be schemed to death one day. A simple-minded person with well-developed limbs would not be able to walk to the end. Emerald Flame Star Lord, Yi Tianyun looked at the verdant Flame Star Lord who had appeared. He controlled the flames of heaven and earth, and it was a very strong formless flame. It seemed formless, but it actually had form. Its true form was the fluctuations of the flames in the air. Those were flames buried in the void. If one got close, they would be burned to ashes. There's another star sovereign. Didn't your ancestral land of Jade God have 3 star sovereigns? I killed star sovereign Goldwind. If you want to come out, then come out together. What's the point of coming out alone? Yi Tianyun chuckled, not taking Emerald Flame Star Sovereign seriously at all. It seemed like he wanted to fight 1 against 2. How dare you? Just the verdant Flame Star Lord alone is enough to deal with you. There is no need for the Jade Heaven Star Lord to act. The nearby disciples roared, thinking that Yi Tianyun was being disrespectful to the ancestral land of the Jade God. I'm talking to Emerald Flame Star Lord. Why are you interrupting? Yi Tianyun flicked his hand, and the disciple who was shouting beside him was killed with a flick. The verdant Flame Star Sovereign did not move at all, allowing Yi Tianyun to kill that disciple as if it had nothing to do with him. In truth, they couldn't be bothered to care about those disciples. They were high and mighty, and these disciples didn't matter to them at all. If they died, so be it. The fact that he didn't come out for a long time proved this point. The barrier outside was about to break, and he couldn't be bothered to come out. He only came out after so many Star Lords were killed. After all, if he didn't come out soon, the ancestral land of the Jade God would be flattened. I alone am enough to deal with you. There is no need for the Jade Heaven Star Lord to act, the verdant Flame Star Sovereign said indifferently. He waved his hand, and the surrounding formless flames immediately gathered around Yi Tianyun. Yi Tianyun can't see it with the naked eye, but he clearly feels that he is surrounded by a wall of fire, like a wall of fire surrounding him. However, he couldn't see the walls of fire clearly. Let's end this. The verdant Flame Star Sovereign formed a seal with both hands, and a startling fiery light shot out of his eyes. Azure Lotus Purgatory. Bear. The surrounding area was instantly incinerated. The originally invisible flames suddenly became visible, turning into a green flame that soared into the sky. Behind him, an azure lotus appeared. This was the Azure Lotus. The Green Lotus Star Dharma power was indeed special. It was a 5th grade Star Dharma power. Although it had not reached the 6th grade, its effects were definitely top-notch. It was at least a peak grade 5-star aspect. Furthermore, it could be used to refine pills. It was more useful than most star aspects. In an instant, Yi Tianyun was engulfed by the flames and completely disappeared from everyone's sight. He had used an extremely powerful killing move. It seemed that the verdant Flame Star Sovereign was treating him as a real opponent. He wouldn't normally use such a killing move. Using it against Yi Tianyun meant that the verdant Flame Star Sovereign was serious. Especially when he saw the 11 units of star power surging above him, they knew that he was going all out. Such a killer move made everyone feel incomparably shocked. They had never seen the verdant Flamestar Sovereign make a move before. Those who did were basically all dead. Now that they could see the verdant Flamestar Sovereign make a move, they felt that it was the right decision not to go against the ancestral land of the Jade God. Just when they thought that even if Yi Tianyun didn't die, he would be burnt to a crisp, a figure rushed out of the flames and charged towards the verdant Flamestar Sovereign. He reached out and grabbed the verdant Flamestar Sovereign's neck. "You're telling me it's over with this little power?" Yi Tianyun looked at him indifferently. He held the verdant Flamestar Sovereign tightly in his hand, as if he was holding a chicken in the air. Everyone was dumbstruck by this scene. Such a powerful killer move had no effect at all. The verdant Flamestar Sovereign was shocked. He had taken the fight seriously and used all his power. Yet, he couldn't hurt Yi Tianyun at all. Before he could think further, Yi Tianyun increased his strength slightly. The verdant Flamestar Sovereign's neck was crushed. At the same time, a powerful force surged through his limbs. In an instant, his body and head swelled up. Roar! The verdant Flamestar Sovereign's head suddenly turned into a flame and fled to the side. His body exploded and turned into a terrifying flame that engulfed Yi Tianyun. After the verdant Flamestar monarch escaped, he released a cyan-colored flame and once again condensed into his body. However, several of the lotus flowers on the green lotus image behind him had withered. It seemed that this shadow had the effect of rebirth. The effect of rebirth was actually present in many star avatars. They all had different effects. However, the final result was that the body could be reconstructed. It was like having an extra life. Such power! The verdant Flamestar Sovereign's pupils shrank. He didn't expect Yi Tianyun to not only have astonishing speed, but also to be able to withstand his flames. Soon, the flames from his self-explosion dissipated. Yi Tianyun reappeared in their line of sight. His body was unharmed. If one looked closely, they would find that his body was flickering with golden light. He could easily withstand any attack. Chapter 1983. Yi Tianyun's body emitted golden light like a golden god. This was undoubtedly one of Gold-Wind Star-Lord's abilities. He could turn into a powerful golden god that could block all attacks, including the terrifying explosion of flames. They were all dumbfounded. How could Yi Tianyun have Gold-Wind Star-Lord's star aspect? However, they didn't think that Yi Tianyun had Gold-Wind Star-Lord's star aspect only because he had this ability. In any case, Yi Tianyun's unscathed situation made them all dumbfounded. If he could withstand such a sudden attack, what else could he not withstand? Emerald Flamestar Lord, lost. Everyone had the same thought. Emerald Flamestar Lord didn't die, but he was at a complete disadvantage. His body was even damaged. He didn't die, but everyone could see that he was being suppressed by Yi Tianyun. A great expert of ancestral land of Jade God was suppressed by Yi Tianyun. How could this not be considered a defeat? It was just a matter of time. The Qingdan family was now wondering if they had bet on the wrong treasure. Once things ended and Yi Tianyun won, it would mean that the Qingdan family would be targeted by Yi Tianyun. They didn't think that they wouldn't be targeted. They had declared their loyalty to ancestral land of Jade God, so how could Yi Tianyun not know about it? Knowing this, would Yi Tianyun let the Qingdan family go? No, Emerald Flamestar Lord won't lose. Emerald Flamestar Lord still has many abilities that he hasn't used. Jade Heavenstar Lord hasn't come out yet. He definitely won't lose. The Qingdan family's elders gritted their teeth and refused to admit their defeat. They wouldn't think that ancestral land of Jade God would lose until the very end. Moreover, ancestral land of Jade God still had many techniques that they hadn't used. Jade Heavenstar Lord hadn't come out yet, so how could they lose? While they thought that ancestral land of Jade God wouldn't lose, Emerald Flamestar Lord was filled with shock and disbelief. He didn't believe that his attack had no effect at all. Instead, his body had exploded, nearly leaving him half dead. If he didn't react in time, Yi Tianyun would have really hurt his soul. Even if he had the ability to resurrect, his soul would be damaged, and his combat effectiveness would be very low. How did he appear? How could he be so strong? Even my self-detonation was useless. Green Firestar Sovereign was completely shocked by Yi Tianyun's power. This was especially so for his final self-detonation. He didn't dare say that it was very strong, but it was at least one of his strongest attacks. This could be considered an ultimate technique that belonged to him. By abandoning his previous body and self-destructing, he would definitely be able to heavily injure his opponent. No matter what, the might of this attack was equal to the strongest strike of a late-stage star venerate. Even at such a close distance, Xiao Chen remained unharmed. This simply frightened him. Oh, you're quite lucky to have such a novel ability. If he doesn't burst out with some power, this will be the end. Yi Tianyun's expression remained calm. If he could not even suppress this, then he would have made all those breakthroughs for nothing. Not only did Xiao Chen's cultivation make a breakthrough, but his dharmic body of stars had also improved. With these two improvements, if even Emerald Flame Star Lord could not suppress him, then all his efforts would have been in vain. Furthermore, Xiao Chen could use the power of other people's dharmic bodies. When Emerald Flame Star Lord self-detonated, he immediately used the Metal Wind Star Lord's golden body to increase his defense. He was almost injured by the explosion. Being attacked at such a close distance, even if his defense was not bad, he would have been injured by the explosion no matter what. Fortunately, he had the Metal Wind Star Lord's golden body, which greatly increased his defense. In the next moment, Yi Tianyun did not say anything more. His figure flashed, and the might of the Metal Wind Star Lord's dharmic body infused into his body. Then, he quickly turned into a beam of golden light that shot forward. Together with the power of the five-colored Emperor Dragon, the two stacked together caused the sky to change color. The power of the five-colored Emperor Dragon was already strong enough. Together with the Metal Wind Star Lord's dharmic body, its power was even more terrifying. The surrounding cultivators could vaguely see two dharmic bodies appear behind Yi Tianyun. Are my eyes playing tricks on me? It looks like there are two dharmic bodies. You must be seeing things. Everyone can only have one star Dharma Laksana. How can there be two star Dharma Laksana? That's right. It looks like he has two dharmic bodies. He must have used some special secret technique to have such an effect. They were extremely shocked by this, but they refused to believe that one person could have two types of star Dharma powers. That was absolutely impossible. This was already a fixed rule that could not be broken. The main thing was that when Yi Tianyun used it, he did not fully release it. If he had fully released it, there would have been a heavenly vision. He did not want to reveal this ability for the time being. Hiding it was naturally the best choice. Green Lotus burns the world. The green lotus behind Verdant Firestar Lord bloomed instantly. It was originally in the form of a stamen, but in the blink of an eye, it turned into a huge green lotus. Green flames surged out from within and finally fused with him. Raw. Surging flames emerged from Verdant Firestar Lord's body. The blazing flames formed a green armor on the surface of his body. His hair and eyes all shone with a green light. His combat power increased explosively. This was Verdant Firestar Lord's full power. Together with the dharmic body, his power increased greatly. This was not the end. Verdant Firestar Lord took out a bottle of elixirs and poured them into his mouth. Don't forget that he was an alchemist of his generation and had many elixirs. After taking it, the flames that emerged from his body rose even higher. His battle prowess rose once again. The raging flames were like a runaway horse, spreading out in all directions. The surrounding divine palaces and the ground were all melted by this astonishing heat. Verdant Firestar Lord has exploded. That is the Green Lotus armor. Once the Green Lotus armor appears, he will definitely return victorious. I remember now. When the ancestral land of the Jade God fought everywhere, the Green Lotus armor appeared and everywhere it went was barren. I didn't expect to see the power of the Green Lotus armor today. Who can compete with the Green Lotus armor? Verdant Firestar Lord still has such a move. We almost forgot. Verdant Firestar Lord will definitely win. No one could stop Verdant Firestar Lord back then, and this time is no exception. This time, Verdant Firestar Lord is really serious. That guy will definitely die. The disciples of the ancestral land of the Jade God, as well as the cultivators outside, could not help but exclaim. Especially when they saw the Green Lotus armor, the feeling was even more different. Chapter 1984. As soon as the Azure Lotus armor appeared, Han Long and the others' expressions changed. They could all feel the dreadful power in it. The power had been compressed to the extreme. It was like a sleeping lion that had just woken up and started to conquer the world. I haven't used my full power in a long time. After so many years, you are the first opponent who can make me use my full power. After the Azure Flame Star Lord had used his full power, he looked at Yi Tianyun in a different way. His eyes were filled with disdain. He looked down on everything. It seemed like nothing could enter his eyes. In his opinion, as long as he used his full power, no one could resist his power. Especially with the support of the 11 star forces in the sky, his power surpassed the 10 star forces that Yi Tianyun had used. If this is all you've got, then you're really too weak. Don't be so long-winded. Just take the Star Venerable's blood. It's not enough to rely on such power. Yi Tianyun shook his head and signaled the Azure Flame Star Lord to use the Star Venerate's blood. If he did not use the Star Venerate's blood, the explosion in front of him would be meaningless. It seems that you know nothing about my power. The Azure Flame Star Lord raised his hand in the air and said calmly, "When I use my full power, even I am afraid. Disappear, ant." The Azure Flame Star Lord pointed at the air gently. The air was burning. The area where Yi Tianyun was distorted. It was instantly burned into a black hole. The air was shattered. All of this happened in the blink of an eye, and the void was burned away. Yi Tianyun's body flashed. He quickly went up to the Azure Flame Star Lord. Facing Yi Tianyun, who was coming at him, the Azure Flame Star Lord was not surprised. If it were so easy to kill Yi Tianyun, he would have killed Yi Tianyun long ago. Close combat will make your death more painful. The Azure Flame Star Lord showed a cruel smile. As expected, Yi Tianyun's body, which was close to him, was burned quickly. The horrible flames were like countless worms, drilling into Yi Tianyun's body. At the same time, the surface of his body began to turn pitch black, preparing to burn his flesh and bones to ashes. Who knew that Yi Tianyun would not care about this situation? Like a flash of lightning, he reached out to grab Verdant Flame Star Lord's head. Xiao Chen's move did not change. He still wanted to kill the Verdant Flame Star Sovereign in one strike, crushing his head. Emerald Flame Star Sovereign naturally wouldn't let Yi Tianyun succeed. He quickly stretched out his hand and grabbed Yi Tianyun's arm. He sneered and said, "You still want to use this move? Impossible. I never thought that I would succeed in one move." Yi Tianyun suddenly swung his body and kicked Emerald Flame Star Monarch's body. Boom! Emerald Flame Star Monarch was forced back a few steps, but he was not seriously injured. On the other hand, the flames flowed along Yi Tianyun's leg and quickly surged into his body. The leg that he had kicked out was burnt black. "Haha, I told you, close combat will only make your death more painful." Emerald Flame Star Sovereign's body was unscathed. The heavy kick did not affect him at all. The Azure Lotus battle armor on his body could already block most of the damage, and at the same time, it could also reflect the damage. "It's just a turtle shell." Yi Tianyun did not stop. He continued to violently beat Emerald Flame Star Sovereign. His fists continuously bombarded Emerald Flame Star Sovereign's body. Emerald Flame Star Sovereign stretched out his hand to block, but found that he had no strength to fight back. He was constantly being suppressed by Yi Tianyun's fists. His violent fists were infused with the sharp power of metal. "It's useless. It will only make you die faster." Emerald Flame Star Sovereign was constantly forced to retreat. Although he could not fight back, he watched as Yi Tianyun's fists became darker and darker. More and more flames poured into his body. Emerald Flame Star Sovereign felt incomparably carefree. What he was most proud of was the Azure Lotus battle armor on his body. Not only could it block the enemy's attacks, it could also reflect damage. The more he attacked, the more flames seeped in. Finally, when the accumulation reached a certain limit, he would be burnt to a crisp. Dong, dong, dong. Yi Tianyun's fists became sharper and sharper. He did not care whether his fists were burnt or not. He continued to beat Emerald Flame Star Sovereign until he had no strength to fight back. Emerald Flamestar Sovereign is beaten so badly that he can't fight back. Even if he explodes, it will be meaningless. They were all stunned. They thought that Emerald Flamestar Sovereign could fight back. Now, it seemed that he could not fight back. He was still beaten. Idiot, Emerald Flamestar Sovereign's Azure Lotus battle armor is invincible. It can continuously reflect damage. Just the damage reflection alone can burn that guy to death. That's right. You don't understand the horror of the Azure Lotus battle armor. It contains flames. Whoever attacks him will die. Didn't you see that Heavencloud Star Sovereign's hands are gradually scorched? His body is probably accumulating flames. When the time comes, he will die without a doubt. Those who knew more about the Azure Lotus battle armor began to refute those who thought that Emerald Flamestar Sovereign would lose. Perhaps to them, the idea that Jade God Ancestral Land would win was already deeply ingrained. You want to burn me with this flame? You are too naive. Yi Tianyun snorted coldly. He shook his arms slightly, and the black ash covering them was shaken off. His white arms were exposed. There was no sign of being burnt at all. How can? Emerald Flamestar Sovereign was shocked. He did not expect that such a powerful flame would have no effect on Yi Tianyun. In fact, it was not that it was ineffective. Yi Tianyun used the Green Devil Holy King and the other's Star Dharma idol to heal himself. Under the violent healing effect, the damage to him was negligible. To put it bluntly, the opponent's damage was not as fast as his own recovery speed. How could he be injured? Break for me, you turtle shell. Yi Tianyun aimed at the center and punched heavily again. With a dong sound, Emerald Flamestar Sovereign fell heavily on the ground. With a loud sound, the Azure Lotus battle armor on his body completely disintegrated and turned into powder. At the same time, his body was smashed by the punch. It was too horrible to look at. Emerald Flamestar Sovereign collapsed on the ground. He could only move his hands. He did not despair. Instead, he took a drop of Star Venerable's blood from his storage ring and prepared to take it. He had not wanted to take the Star Venerable's blood at first. But under such circumstances, he had no choice. Otherwise, he would die. I can only take the Star Venerable's blood. Emerald Flamestar Sovereign took out the Star Venerable's blood. When he was about to put it in his mouth, it was suddenly snatched away. Oh, you still want to take the Star Venerable's blood? I gave you time to use it, but you did not use it. Now you want to take the Star Venerable's blood. Do you think I am an idiot? Yi Tianyun snatched the Star Venerable's blood and showed a cold smile.